Well, it's Friday night, and I've decided. You know what? I need to drink, and well, I asked Dain. Let's say, hey Dain, let's drink and let's talk about stuff. And so we got into this little hockey thing. I don't know shit about hockey, but we got into this
I,
thing, a long thing about hockey, just
I
backstage.
I am so upset. I'm
I
so
know.
upset to all of everybody who's watching. I'm so fucking mad. Sorry, wait, was I allowed to swear 2 seconds into the stream, or
I don't
I
care.
probably
I
should have waited.
I, I don't care. I don't even think I monetized this.
You live in Chicago,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You are the home of the Blackhawks. You had the mid kind of 2010s dynasty, like 3 cups in 5 years. Jonathan Taves, Patrick Sharp, Brent Seabrook, Duncan Keith, Corey Crawford, Patrick fucking Kane. And yeah, okay, so you care about way to rub that in too, even though like I'm not from Toronto, but yes, all of Canada does cheer for the Blue Jays for some reason. But Patrick Kane, the greatest American player of all time. Okay.
I've seen.
Didn't care.
I've
No,
seen. I've seen him play. I've seen Kaner play.
Yeah, have you seen him do the dangles like through that like maze of pucks? He'd like put
yes,
a bunch of pucks out,
Yep, I've
and then he'd do like he'd stick handle through it.
Yep, I've seen that.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Still to this day, it's absolutely insane. The generational talent. But so three cups in 5 years. You lived through all that, and you probably didn't give a shit about it. Whereas I wake up every time I wake up with a smile on my face, I'm remembering the Flames winning in 1989.
The Flames.
The worst team in the league right now, because we're finally being fucking smart. Finally, we are going to tank like no team has tanked before. You're going to see the Flames basically pass the puck for a break when they're leading a game 2-1 with like 5 minutes to go. They'll pull the goalie and they'll like give it away to the other team. They want to tank that bad.
Dang.
Yeah, it's the only way to win a championship these days. Sadly,
is to tank.
What? I was pointing this out to a colleague the other day. Like the only team in the NHL to have won a Stanley Cup in the last 20 years that didn't have a top 3 draft pick on their team. It doesn't matter if they drafted the player or they traded for him later, but the scouting has gotten so fucking good right now that all the best talent, hockey talent, is identified young. And there is a world of difference between a first overall and a second overall. And from a second to a third, it's kind of akin to how in golf, like there's Tiger Woods and then there's everybody else kind of behind him being that good. Right? That what separates an exceptional player from like the second best one is a freaking light year. And with the draft, especially if you're not in the top 3, you don't have a freaking chance. So there are teams that embrace the tank, like Pittsburgh back in the early 2000s. They got, I think, top draft picks in Marc-Andre Fleury, Jordan Staal, Evgeny Malkin, and Sidney Crosby. And they turned that into a dynasty, and they won 3 cups. The Blackhawks, who I was just praising, Jonathan Taves was a 3rd overall pick. I'm pretty sure Patrick Kane was a 1st overall, and they had a couple other really high ones, and they turned that into a dynasty. The only team in the last 20 years to not do that approach was the 2008 Detroit Red Wings. But they were able to do it because the Detroit scouting network was way ahead of the rest of the NHL in those early 2000s. They found Pavel Datsyuk and they found Henrik Zetterberg and were able to draft them very, very late in the draft and turn them into great players. But that's the exception, not the rule. The rule is you want to win in hockey, you have to suck for 5 straight years and draft a good team. There's no other way to win.
You have to suck in order to get good players? Is that
which is so perverse when you look at it?
I don't understand the rules. The
nature of a league like this that is based on a franchise system where all the clubs are basically in a cartel and they set the rules for themselves. There's no actual free market in the NHL.
Okay.
So it doesn't work in soccer. Any soccer league kind of globally, there's no way you could do something like this because you don't reward suckitude in soccer. If your team sucks, you get demoted to a bottom league and all your players have clauses in their contracts that they can just fucking leave. The NHL
I have no idea what you just
cartel.
said. I have no idea what you just said, but
okay.
I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. So we got Staple Bro, and I coined that phrase first before Dain did. We got Philip Blair. Yeah, that's Staple Bro. Yeah.
No, I think there's a Prince of the Ravens, and there's also a Staple Bro. They might use the same logo. We'll see. I'll ask him.
Prince of Ravens.
Are you Staple Bro? We'll see. We'll see. Oh, no, he says, yeah, it's me. Okay, well, wait. Who is... Sorry, I've been drinking. Wait. Who is Prince
I was going to ask you, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking wine right now, and I also had like a really heavy beer earlier, and I'll probably upgrade. Yeah, it's...
So right now, I am drinking the last of Lagavulin I bought months ago when I think it was my last stream that I did with Pips, and I continued drinking with, well, yours truly.
Yeah, no.
I think you're the reason why I bought. I knew about this.
Did you like it though? Like, is it campfire blend or?
This is Distiller's Edition.
It's not the 16. It's an Islay blend.
Islay blend delivers an extra rich raisin sweet flavor with a dark smokiness that intensifies as the peat grows. Double mature and Pedro Ximenez seasoned American oak casks. And I like the box. That's why I kept the box around. I keep it in my new dresser / now it's partial liquor cabinet.
Liquor boxes?
Yeah, well, it's
every beer I've ever had is on a windowsill, but in my dorm room. No, I'm kidding.
I never did that.
Okay, good. Thank God.
I think the Whitecloaks are the reason why I've
started drinking heavily.
I had my first hangover, and I had my first hangover the day before I voted, and I had actually puked because I had too much to drink right after a stream. Yeah. So yeah, I am going down because I was never like that in college. I was in a fraternity.
But wait, you got drunk the day before the election, but you didn't the day after?
because I had our horsey friend there, and so
you and Pips
he bullied me into drinking. I don't know,
on a Monday.
Oh no, it was Friday. No, it was Friday. I went voted on it was. It was
because I know your
Friday.
elections are Tuesday.
I went and voted on Saturday. Well, I went and voted on Saturday.
Okay, so it took you a while before you could celebrate the actual expression of democracy. Not that it mattered in Chicago, but
well, I'll say this: there was a lot of judges that were up for re-election. All you had to do was hit yes. I hit no for all of them. My motto: re-elect nobody.
Interesting. If I lived in Chicago, I wouldn't disagree with that either. But no. All right. Who else in chat? So we got apparently Prince of the Ravens 64 is Staple Bro.
And we got my friend Pops Sportsporial. No, it's all my guess. My guess kind of is forcing this all on me right now. Jack Nicklaus is the only one close to Tiger Woods. Seems like every 20 years rule. Yeah.
Jack Nicklaus is ahead of Tiger Woods technically on like what matters in golf, which is those Grand Slams. or sorry, the majors. But so Tiger has a different stat, which is arguably harder to win, which is he beat Sam Snead in terms of the most victories on the PGA Tour overall, which is nuts when you think about it.
So there is a Prince of the Ravens on Discord?
Yeah.
In the band of the Red Hand?
Yeah.
Is there a
So I thought I was bad for having like 3 alts on that Discord who always like upvoted and laughed at all of my jokes, but apparently
who are your alts?
Not Dain Bornhold was one of them.
Not okay.
That one was too obvious. I'm honestly just kidding. I am not clever enough nor care enough to have alt accounts on a Discord where I'm already famous.
Prince of the Ravens. So it's like, is there a character that hasn't been accounted for on the Band of the Red Hand? Like, is every character from Wheel of Time represented as someone?
Do you want to be somebody? Because
no, not really.
we had this dude show up, some rando, and he was kind of wondering who he could be in the band. And then, like, I don't know, as a joke, someone said, you could be Lord Weiramon Santiago, who's that pompous tyrant lord that Rand cannot abide, who
the one that always wants to charge.
Yeah, the cavalry charge is the solution for everything. And he literally, in every conversation, brings up a cavalry charge as to how this could be a solution to your problems. There'd be some non-Wheel of Time fucking conversation about like tax rates and AI and where the best capital gains rate would be in order to foster further investment. And he says, this is a solution best solved by a cavalry charge.
That's like, okay.
He's sticking to his character. It's great.
Okay. Chillporeal of Time. Well, I'll be honest. Everybody knows it. I'm kind of struggling with finishing. Miss Martin Muse has finished the series. She managed
to
finish all 14 books. Yeah. So, and I'm still stuck on book 10.
Well, you're stuck on the prologue of book 10. It's not going to get better, bud.
I know. That's why I haven't been so eager to read. But I'm on this last part. You know, I keep getting Shishali and Samitsu like mixed up when I read it. But apparently Dobrain has been stabbed.
Oh, wow.
And as like Dobrain, oh yeah, he was the one that went with them to do Doomai's Wells and Lord of Chaos. And he's kind of like the placeholder until for Kyrian.
He's the steward in Kyrian.
He's the Lord. He is the Lord Denethor of Kyrian right now.
Right.
Except he doesn't have the
Bashir also got stabbed in this prologue. So what gets connected? Both of them were potentially
the wife, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, Dira got stabbed. Bashir wasn't there, but somebody was looking for something in Bashir's tent and as well as in Dobrain's possession. So what it is, people are theorizing, or Dark Friends are theorizing, that these are the folks that might have the seals to the Dark One's prison. So that's what's going on. So Dark Friends are after the seals to break out the Dark One.
I was curious if it had anything to do with Lady Sheane, who likes to tie people's faces to tables and then uses a funnel to poison them.
Except that she is not that high up. Like at the end of the day, she gets elevated above certain eyes.
But I answered directly to Moradin. Shut up, bitch.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Like
that. I mean, I'll be honest. That was one of the few parts of Path of Daggers I didn't forget about. That was a pretty brutal. It was only a few pages, but that was a brutal scene.
What, the Jake and Carradine getting brandied to death?
Yeah, brandy. Yeah, I was like, because
if I was honest, that's how I would want to go.
Yeah, just with oh, you're a brandy guy. I didn't know that.
Yes and no.
But yeah, I mean,
Brandy is a
it was one of
burnt
the.
wine. So brandy is one of the first distilled alcohols. I feel as a Dutchman, I should explain this because we were the ones who invented it. But brandy, brandwine, burnt wine, is essentially you can't take wine with you on a voyage into the tropics because it'll fucking spoil and it'll suck.
Mm-hmm.
So what the Dutch started doing was taking good wines from regions where you could grow wine, which is not Holland, and they distill it. So they cook it up to about 65, 70 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but the evaporation temperature for alcohol is higher, or sorry, it's lower than actual water. So if you take a wine, you cook it to that level, you'll basically get the alcohol evaporating up into a still, condense it down, and you'll concentrate the alcohol from it. And the higher the alcohol content, the less likely it is to spoil. So that's the whole name of the game behind brandy. Whiskey actually came a heck of a lot later because that's basically taking all the ingredients from beer and distilling the shit out of that. But brandy, first frickin' distilled alcohol, but it was for long sea voyages. You didn't actually need to have the whole bottle of wine because you distill the alcohol down, get it up to 40%. You can get smashed on like a little cup.
I didn't know that. Nice thing. Nice lesson about brandy. So, but yeah, I was listening to some of the stuff. So our last stream was I think my Winter's Heart stream, and it happened. Shortly after Charlie Kirk's death happened, and you know.
I still have my my TP USA shirts on order. But
yeah,
in the aftermath of that, I felt like, okay, how can I support? How can I do anything like that? So I ordered a couple of T-shirts, but they said it could be 16 weeks because they just got. And I'm not going to belabor the point, but 16 weeks at that point in time is like, okay, in time for Christmas, I might have my, faithful servant T-shirt done. But yeah, no, oh god.
So I remember I remember you sharing. You shared a few interesting things backstage about, how to. It's funny as I'm going to sound like a Klingon. How to die well, and you shared a story. I forgot what the name of the story was, but it was about two sons that were that kind of took. Basically, they hauled their mother to temple, if I remember correctly, during ancient times.
Yeah. It's in Herodotus for those who are interested. So, and if you're interested in reading Herodotus, go get yourself a good copy, like the Everyman's edition. But it's in here. This is an absolute beautiful book, and it's foundational to Western civilization. So,
and I remember we brought him up earlier. I forget. Did you say he was like was he like considered the one of the earliest historians?
He's the father of history.
The father of history, and he, if I remember correctly, he chronicled the Peloponnesian War.
Yeah. So the entire Thucydides did the Peloponnesian War.
Okay, I got it.
So that's after. But if you remember the movie 300,
yeah,
with like all the abs and Jared Butler and the rest, that's all based off of Herodotus. So that is the war against the Persians.
the Battle of Thermopylae, right?
Yeah, Thermopylae. Battle of Marathon would be an earlier one. Battle of Salamis. So
is the marathon one where the guy gets his name? He runs for 26 miles, and then he delivers the message, and then drops dead.
Yeah,
to the king or something. All right.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
But the Peloponnesian War is between Spartans and Athenians. What Herodotus covers is the battle between the Greeks and the Persians. Mm-hmm. But it's not just that, right? There is a shit ton of stories within Herodotus, and one of them was talking about perspectives on like what is the good life.
So did he write mainly? Did he write fiction as well as nonfiction,
No.
or
He was a world traveler, so he had traveled definitely into Asia Minor, which is what we now call Turkey.
Turkey?
But back in the days, there were no Turks over there, so we call it Anatolia or Asia Minor or Asia or Ionia, because the whole coastline there was all Greek. He traveled down to Egypt. He traveled through the Middle, or not the Middle East, but he traveled through the Levant. So what you'd call Palestine,
Yep.
Lebanon, Syria, those areas today. And he collected stories.
I hear the Levant's always been peaceful. Okay, that was bad. That was terrible.
Beyond terrible.
Yeah.
If anything, it's the fucking Phoenicians that started everything, because you read the first chapter of this, it's the Phoenicians who basically kidnapped Greeks, Greek women, raped them. I don't know why. I've seen Greek women.
And the Phoenicians were basically
The Phoenicians were proto-Lebanese, so like Tyre, and that kind of area around Beirut and whatnot. But they ostensibly, the Phoenicians came from like Arabia or the Arabian Gulf way before, so they migrated into the Levant.
when did they arrive? When did they get to the Levant? I don't remember if they've ever been mentioned
Like
in the Old
1100, because
1100 before BC.
Yeah, because the whole thing with Greek culture is prior to the advent of the Phoenicians, there are two not even alphabet. There are two scripts, right? There's Linear A and Linear B, and they still haven't decoded what Linear A actually says, but they were able to decode Linear B through some genius 100 years ago. But Greek language adopted an alphabet after they did Linear B. So they had a writing mechanism, but the Phoenicians, what they bequeathed to the world was essentially an alphabet system of symbols for sounds. And the Greeks took this wholeheartedly after about 800 BC. So the Iliad and the Odyssey, they were composed before before the Phoenician alphabet. And there are elements of like Greek writing prior to this, but they're very hard to decode. But everything becomes a heck of a lot easier in Greek after the Greeks adopt a Phoenician alphabet in about 800, 750 BC.
And is that where the Greek alphabet is derived from?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, all that stuff. A lot of the symbols are all ripped off from the Phoenicians.
I did not.
So let's not undersell what the Phoenicians contributed to the world. It's why you can read my sweater.
I'm curious if the Phoenicians were ever mentioned in the New Testament, or not the New Testament, the Old Testament.
That's a fake history at the end of the day. So don't worry about it.
They're
in their own little bubble and doing their own thing and high on their own significance.
I did want to bring it up. I remember you said this. I don't know if you're comfortable talking about this, but I think you are. You said you said you were proud to be from like a nice long line of, I forget, was atheist, agnostic.
My family has not been religious since probably the 1850s.
Interesting. And I don't think I've ever met anyone that's ever said that or ever mentioned that. So I'm interested. I come from a, as you can tell, I'm Polish, and I come from a Catholic family.
Oh yeah, but it's not something to be proud of. Yes and no, right? But I just want people to understand, like, I have not grown up getting Bible stories. I am completely unfamiliar with them. I managed to get maybe like 3 pages into the New Testament before I was bored. And like I had issues with the literature. The Old Testament, I've read deeper into the Old Testament, and then I had to text my buddy who was big into it and being like, holy shit, these guys are dipshits all the time. Why the fuck are they like fucking with their god all the time? They explicitly told them not to do this, and they keep doing it. Why are they like so keen to rape this guy? And yeah, my buddy texts back and being like, yeah, they're basically dipshits.
What are you referencing, by the way?
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Okay.
Yeah, you read through that.
Yeah, Lot and the angels. Yeah.
Why are they so keen on fucking that guy in the ass? I don't know. It seems like an easy thing to let go.
Two pretty angels probably looked, very handsome, and I have no idea. So, but it looks like we got some.
Are we getting a Steve raid?
We're getting a raid. I don't think I've ever experienced a raid before. So we have Trip says hello to Dain, doesn't say hello to me. Hi Trip.
Oh, Trip.
It's good to see you. We got Josh Templeton. We got
give me a sec.
We have the artist formerly known as Missima, or no, Steve. What's up, Prophet? What's up, buddy? Gifted one membership. Thanks. He gifted himself. You didn't have to do it again. You didn't have to do it again. So apparently my bro from last time, Foul Ball Productions, is now a member. So all thanks to you guys. So Dain, we went into a little spiel about sports and hockey. I know Steve, you're way bigger sports fan than I am. So I don't know how big of a hockey fan you are though, but
fucking LA Kings, the only fucking team to like not win more cups than the Blackhawks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
was the Kings. So again, jealous of you guys, because you could have been celebrating 3 championships actually quite recently, or at least in recent memory. Steve at least probably celebrated 2, and I think he did because he does like the Kings.
So yeah, it's interesting.
And Trip had the Avalanche, and she didn't give a shit. Just so we're 100% clear.
It was interesting hearing. So from a nice long line of non-religious, and yet you were drawn to the Wheel of Time, which has a lot of elements of different religions, and there's elements.
Because I don't
elements obviously, and obviously Eastern elements with the Wheel of Time and all that. So
I don't think those impulses go away. I think those are fairly innate in people.
I whenever something, whenever there's a movie or something, or I'm reading scripture, I get that same feeling too. And I don't really consider myself like, I honestly I've been on the fence on religion for a long time. I mean, I grew up.
Right.
I grew up going to multiple different denominations of Christianity, and
when I was 9 years old, I had a girl in my class who was diagnosed with brain cancer, and ultimately she passed away. She was one of my best friends in 3rd grade. She never came to class in 4th grade. She visited once at Halloween, but she was dressed as a witch and whatnot. They had makeup to disguise her, but she didn't like it. She didn't like how she looked. And 3 months later, she ultimately passed from a brain tumor. And I was reading the Narnia books the whole time through.
Mm-hmm.
And I still remember my mom saying, like, okay, the ending, the last battle, which is the final Narnia book, the big fight, but everyone ends up back in a type of Narnia paradise. And again, like you're 9 or 10 years old at the time, you're trying to deal with it, but I hadn't been raised in this situation. I knew that my friend Lauren, she had passed and that she was gone and gone forever. And all of my classmates were taking comfort being like, well, she got taken by angels or whatnot. I knew that was wrong. or at least I knew that, okay, that's what they tell kids our age, and I had to be the mature one to help deal with it. But I remember being envious of the other kids who got fed that story and felt that it was real, and lamenting that, the fantasy story that I really liked, like I liked the Narnia Chronicles, and it's a shame that it's not like this. And it's only later in life when you find out that C.S. Lewis was, a major Christian apologist, and that a lot of his stories were corollaries or were tied deeply to Christian theology.
But he wasn't always like that, right? Like he was. I mean, wasn't he a staunch atheist for like a long time?
Yeah, but that's how every Christian apologist, develops credibility. Like even Dostoevsky did that, but he was an atheist for an afternoon. Like so I don't buy in. At the end of the day, I admit, had I been raised differently, I probably wouldn't have the views that I have today. But at the same time, being an atheist is not easy, right?
Right.
You don't have any additional comfort. You sometimes have nights, maybe once a month, maybe once a week if you're really weird, where you're just like, okay, this is the end. Like, this is my life. This is it. When it ends, that's it. So what's important to me? Have I lived up to, am I making the most of all of this? Kind of shit. Like, a lot of people crack under this, and in part, I think, at least from the Dawkins revolution, or if that's a thing since like 2006 with the God delusion, he managed to convince a lot of people that established religion is BS. The sad thing is, a lot of people then decided to think that the next good thing was probably more smart, and we should follow that. So, oh my God, the internet is filled with dumb atheists. I don't think that there are a lot of people that can handle this without turning to nihilism, and then without turning to some of the worst ideologies that have existed in the history of Earth.
I mean,
so I don't recommend it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, since my own father passed away, and I thought about, like, if there is an immortal soul, I have no way to know where he would end up. And can you imagine what if he ended up in the wrong place, the place that is separated from God, the place of, eternal damnation, eternal
That's what every Irish poet jests about, right? Is like, well, if I'm going to hell, at least I'll meet interesting people.
That's so I mean, honestly, just that idea of uncertainty, is very, very, it's very unappealing. It's very, I had this conversation with a friend. A lot of my friends are Christians. I love them all.
Mine too.
Yeah, I mean, 2/3 of the Whitecloaks are Christian. I think Pips and Alex are both Christian. And I mean, I grew up Christian. I still have a lot of the values instilled in me. I mean, I still enjoy reading scripture. I don't necessarily agree with everything.
Brian, it's uncanny how Calvinist I actually am.
Is that why you like Wheel of Time so much? Because of all the predestination, the predetermined prophecies. That's probably one of the few things. It's probably one of the few things I probably don't like about the Wheel of Time.
All of Dutch culture is very, very Calvinist, and even those who kind of gave up on religion didn't give up on Calvinism.
I forget. In the history, were the Huguenots Calvinists, or were they different?
No, but a lot of the Huguenots fled.
Huguenots, French.
Huguenot, ha ha ha. You don't pronounce a T in French, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
They fled north because of Catherine de Medici. So I'm actually descended from Huguenots in part. So I got the whole family tree. So a lot of them actually moved. So that was the French Protestant movement that got utterly quashed. Their leaders were basically all slaughtered in the 1500s, 1570s, something or other, by Catherine de Medici in a big fucking double cross. But the Huguenots and all their money went north to Holland as like a Protestant kind of faction.
Interesting.
History's fascinating, but
yeah, I agree. I agree. But like, going back, I mean, like you said, live your best life. I mean, I've only had one life, and I mean, there are things I haven't done yet. Like, a lot of people I know got married. I never got married,
same.
and I mean, just like, do I have to get married? Who says I have to get married? The parents? Well, they can't really dictate that to me. Friends, even they can't dictate to me. I gotta do what I feel is right, and there's only one life to live. And then I'm not talking about the soap opera, but yeah, I made decisions. I've made choices and decisions. My thread, or my thread of the pattern, and honestly, like, I mean, I've made this. I mean, there are times where where thoughts will come in, demons, so to speak, and I'll tell myself otherwise. That I made bad decisions, and I had to come to terms with the fact that I made decisions for the best, for my own personal interest, for the best outcome at the time. And with going back to talking about, like, eternal souls and all that, I'm right now, and I'm subject to change my mind. I mean, I'm more comfortable with the idea of not having an eternal soul, and I'm comfortable with the idea that when we die, it'll be just like being born. We're not going to know it. We're going to lose all of our senses, and there's no sense of time, and we join everyone before us in death.
So keep in mind too, um, if you analyze the breeding patterns of human females, or just women in general, going back into history, half of all men that have ever existed never had any progeny.
Yeah, I know.
Half.
Yeah.
Either they were the women all decided he's not good looking enough, or whatever, or they died young because of warfare or whatnot. But
or as children.
the average amount of children from any human that like passes on is the replication rate. Even though we've had growth in terms of human population over the super long term, it doesn't take a big deviation from a replication rate in order to like get those stats. But the point is, the average woman has 2 children. The average man has 2 children, but it's either 0 or 4. Right? So the average is still 2, but it's the guy who survives, the guy who has a wife and then a second wife, they have all the kids. So half of all men don't pass on their genes. Women on average do, but they'll die in childbirth on average after the second one, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I first learned about that. I first learned about that type of thing.
Being kind of unmarried bachelors, it's not anything that's atypical. The only thing atypical would be that we didn't die in a world war, because they didn't have one in our time, or we didn't sign up for fucking Iraq or Afghanistan or any of that fucking shit. But that we are unmarried and unattached, well, yeah, the women determine essentially what the reproduction site or competition looks like, and they all compete for the top half. Not saying we're bottom half, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That said, we as men have created the world where it's basically like, why the fuck would I even get involved with that shit? Given that like should take all my stuff. And I've got pretty
That's
cool stuff, right? Just look behind me, right?
that's a risk, and I know there's a lot of men there. I mean, a lot of men are willing to make that risk. I from growing up and everything, just and I've had friends. I've seen how friends, some great friends got married. I stood up to several weddings. Um, but
Wait, were you the one standing up and saying, "I'm speaking my piece," or were you that guy at the wedding who like speak now or forever hold your peace, and you wouldn't? Because that's a fucking baller move, especially if you get it right.
no, no, I'm not. I'm not that baller.
But do you do you have some regrets?
What? What?
Yeah, because I do.
Regrets of what? Like what?
Not
At
speak my
weddings?
piece to my brother.
Oh, oh. I mean, there was one friend. So I stood up at 3 weddings. One friend I have not seen in years. We didn't really have a falling out. We just stopped talking. It was part of a friend group. I haven't talked to him since like 2017, I think. Um, I noticed he stopped returning calls, and then I was kind of like, okay, well, I just kind of decided to stop altogether. So um, that ended up being, without saying his name and all that, his marriage ended up being it ended up evolving, I guess you could say, into an open marriage. You could say evolving. Yeah, we got I forget Dane's dogs. What's your dog's name? It's not Fitzy. Fitzy's your previous dog.
Dude, I stepped out. Ollie, shut up.
So yeah, he usually has to. Usually when we do things like this, Dane usually has to walk his dog, or do anything like that. Why in the hell would you wait until a wedding to speak your piece? Um, yeah, I've never had to. I've never really did that. Usually when it comes to that type of thing, I'm usually quiet about it. Uh, like, I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to tell friends, I'm not going to tell friends these things because I don't know everything. I don't know the full picture of the relationship. And, and honestly, it's their decision. I have no right to be, saying, I feel I don't have a right to say anything like that. So, and yeah, you got to let people live their lives the way they want to and all that. So, and even if I did do that, and they wouldn't listen to me, and I'd probably kill the friendship right there. So, because obviously they choose their, the love of their lives over, just their bro or something like that. So,
Bros
um,
before hoes.
not here in Chicago. Not here in Chicago. Everybody's one thing I noticed in college, everybody, the guys in my fraternity, they were. I mean,
Hoes?
we didn't use the term simps back then. We used the term whipped back then.
Oh, that. So you were in a pussy whipped.
Pussy whipped, yeah. So, yeah,
That's okay.
yeah.
Anyways, this is Ollie. He was barking. Somebody was at the door, so I had to go see. But
Ali, yes, Ali. Okay.
Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein, also
Ul-
known as Ollie,
Ulrich von Liechtenstein, nice.
from Kelderland, Esquire.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, but like one friend, he's in an open relationship. I mean,
Yeah.
he came out to me. He came out to me years ago, and that was the last time I saw him. Probably even if we met up now, it'd be very different, politically and all that. Probably wouldn't have much in common anymore because that's just
I,
friends come and go, and we change over time. That's part of being adults. So, and then another
I
friend.
don't want to sound callous, but at the end of the day, like if a woman wants to be in an open relationship with you and
That's
you accept it,
that's a red flag.
no, it's kind of like No, she'll despise you in the end for
Like,
accepting that.
yeah, that's red flag. That's a major red flag.
It's just like, don't go there.
Yeah, I don't know any I don't know I don't know what happened with that. But like I said, I still despite that, I still have really pleasant memories, and I'm going to cherish those memories till the day I die. I mean, that was a great friend group. It was probably the first friend group I ever had that was nerdy. And I mean, the reason why I do these Chillporeals is because of those fun conversations we'd have late at night at the 24-hour diner, which is unfortunately closed now, and drink coffee and eat crap and
Watch
and
Blackhawks, but
black
no,
they
no,
did play
no,
the sports,
you
but
didn't
we
fucking
weren't.
do that, did you?
They no, but the restaurant had the TV. They had the mounted TV, and they played hockey, and they played
They play
football
the
and all that.
highlights, and you're just like, oh, look, sport ball.
Yeah,
Great.
sport ball. Yeah, then the owners would just the owner would just sit at the table closest to the register, watch the TV while smoking like several cigarettes. I used to come home
They're
like my
allowed
parents.
to smoke
My parents were like,
indoors.
did you fucking
Oh,
smoke? My parents were
back
like,
in
yeah. My parents were like, did you fucking smoke? I'm like, no. They just smoked a lot in the restaurant because this was before the 2005 law in Illinois where you couldn't smoke in a public place anymore. This was before
dude,
that.
I just want to say, I think one of the first places on earth that banned smoking in public places was Ireland. And in 2005, I went to Ireland around the Halloween time, and it was fucking awesome because every single pub I've been to kind of before that just had nothing but like cigarette smoke everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of a once a week thing. And I was just like, holy fucking shit, I got to move here because the air's so clean and I can get drunk like 6 nights a week. But I didn't.
That's crazy.
Yeah, now I live in Calgary and I get drunk 6 nights a week.
Yeah, yeah. I had another friend.
It's
I had
only
another friend.
3.
I had another friend. So we talk about one friend. I have another friend who he got married. Year after my other friend got married, and he had a child. So the first friend, the one in the open relationship, he didn't have any kids, but I think
Thank freaking God.
they're still married to this day, but I think they have. I remember how my friend used to say, "Oh, I'm very comfortable with." I probably shouldn't even. I'm sure I probably shouldn't say this about
You
him,
don't have to. But
honestly.
it's just like
But
that.
yeah, he
That
used
open
to. He used to
relationship stuff is it's fucking weird. At the
well,
end of it,
yeah,
and
I guess. I mean, I didn't know any of that type of stuff existed until I watched until I think I was in seventh grade, and I watched an episode of All in the Family. There was an episode called The Bunkers and the Swingers, and then I learned what swinging was. I was like what is I'm like, oh, I know what they're doing. Oh, okay, I have an idea, and I think that was like the first time but
yeah,
but
even swinging is different from fucking like open relationship, where it's
But it's kind
usually
of open. I mean, it's still open. It's just
but it's like you pick the car keys and you're matched, right? So at least he's getting what she's getting. Open relationships these days are mostly about like she gets to fuck whoever she wants, and he's lucky to get something else. So
yeah. But yeah, I had another. But yeah, my second friend got
but
married,
but
and
more to the point, more to
what?
the point. I'll just put out this here as someone who, if you actually love your wife, why would you want to sleep with anyone other than her?
That's a good point.
At
Some
all.
people say they do it to save their marriages.
That
That's why
seems like that's
that's the excuse I've
oxymoronic.
heard. Yeah, I know.
As part, if you truly loved who you're with,
Yeah,
why wouldn't you want to spend every fucking minute of every fucking day with them?
yeah. That's a good point. And well, I wanted to get to my second friend, who I'm still friends with to this day. Good, great guy. Um, he got married. He had a child. His daughter is about 10 years old now, and his wife, his wife told him she was attracted to members of the same sex. So that ended up being, I mean, they're still not really divorced, but they're still like they're still kind of together for the sake of their daughter, but they just it's just another one of those things where, and this was one of those cases where maybe, I mean, once again, I wasn't going to speak up because he loved her. They've been together for years, longer than I've ever known him. And but she was, I witnessed some real toxicity from her. Like, she just yelled at him in front of me. Like, I was just like, I was like, you, I'm like, like, am I the one friend, because I'm his friend and not your friend, that you can fucking yell at him in front of me?
There's this great
Like,
Jim
like
Jeffries
you know
bit.
what I'm, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it's so, I mean, like,
there's a Jim Jeffries bit where he talks about like the highest rates of divorce are between same-sex female couples because there are two women. And then the next highest rate of divorce are between a man and a woman. And the lowest rate of divorce is between two men. And he's not noticing a pattern, but there is a fucking pattern.
and I've and I mean, like, but this was I mean, what I'm talking about was years before that revelation, but like, just this idea that the wife or the girlfriend can treat their man like that in front of their friend. I'm not, so like, they have friends, but a lot of the friends that I've seen that come to, that have come to events, or that have come to, the parties that they've hosted, were all her friends. That, I mean, they were her friends, the friends that originated with her, and that, as a couple, it's their friends. I was
Their
like
friend,
I
so
was the one
his
friend.
friends got excluded,
I
except for
was
you.
I was the one friend that was there for him. I was his friend. I wasn't her friend. I never really developed. I mean, I've never really had a real conversation with her or anything. So when she showed her, like her negative side, she had no qualms about showing it in front of me, his friend. I don't understand that behavior, and I've seen this with I've seen this with other friends too, and I just don't understand it. Like, I don't know if it's me, or if it's, them or something. They're trying to, I don't know. Like, it's just, and that behavior
Brian,
has kept me from being really eager to seek out.
don't try and understand the female mind because that's kind of what Freud said, right? He
Well,
doesn't
I mean,
understand
I don't
what.
think the female mind understands the female mind. So yeah, I agree.
All right, let's drink. Let's drink to
Here's
that.
to drink to the female mind. If you're a female, you understand.
For the record, all
Trip.
women watching this, Brian and I would have
The
fucking
one the
died.
one woman, the one woman.
The one woman watching it, we would have died at the Battle of the Bulge, if not at Waterloo. So, like, we're only alive because,
Waterloo, isn't that an ABBA song?
it was
Waterloo.
1815.
Gotta
It's
something by
Napoleon's
my
ultimate defeat.
Waterloo.
But yeah, there's a ton of men who died there. So, but
Yeah.
anyways, post-war, when all like half the men have died,
Yeah.
then that's exactly when all the women have slim pickings and like settle down.
Mm-hmm.
But then like half of them will die in childbirth, and then the remaining men will have a second wife. So that's getting back to our breeding demographics later.
Mm-hmm.
In that, so how does this all work? Half the men don't breed at all. They don't get any kids because they fucking die. But all the women will have one or two on average replication rate, except they'll die in childbirth, and it would be the second wife that gives birth to the second one. That's how it goes. So
I always think of
not fun either way, but that's
yeah. I
what.
mean, I always think of that one character from Tale of Two Cities, the one that inspires Mr. Spock to give his life at the end of Wrath of Khan was named Darnay or something. He basically he takes the place of the one woman he loves, but doesn't get reciprocated, and he takes the place of the woman of the man that she loves, so that she can go on and live and be happy. And he goes and walks to his death at the guillotine. How's it go? I have seen a far better thing. I forget how it goes, but that's what Shatner or Kirk says at the very end of Wrath of Khan. So, and I just think about I've been thinking about that lately, and I'm like, bro, as noble as that is,
Simping.
probably shouldn't have done that. Probably shouldn't have done that.
You're sound like Rand at the end of season 1, being like, "Is that what she wants?
Mm-hmm.
Here's my Saagriel." Boom.
So yeah, Trip. I was gonna ask, but I don't like the thing is Dain doesn't have to talk about his novel. I know because he's got some experts critiquing it right now. I haven't been able to read it yet, but
What's Trip saying?
she's asking if you feel so inclined, Chillporeal, please ask Dain how his novel goes. So I know you said you're writing a novel.
Yep.
And
I'm actually writing a series of novels, and I'm not keen on publishing anything until I have the story done. So it's like decades away.
It's highbrow, your words.
Yeah.
And
Trip is also the only reader I've had with the perspicacity to kind of understand the whole plot. So the big plot. Yeah.
Forgive me for not knowing what that means.
All right.
Wait, how you say it?
PER.
PER.
SPI.
SP.
CACITY.
Perspicacity. The quality of having a ready insight into things. Shrewdness, according to Google's definition. So
yeah.
All right.
So Trip got it. Trip, don't spoil it, please. But like,
Amber's still helping. Amber's still helping you with that.
Amber is so helpful. So I am reading my redraft now. I haven't read it like my whole work for the first time like in over a year. So I'm reading it at the gym, and I'm just like, fuck, did I write this? This is fucking like readable. I'm actually enjoying my own reading or writing as far as like tooting my own horn. But everything that she advised me to through revising this first draft and later, it's expensive, but it is beyond valuable for a writer.
I haven't read anything yet, but do you write it all like Robert Jordan?
Yes and no, because those are my inspirations. But reading through my own stuff right now, there's a difference between my early stuff, like from the early chapters that I would have given to you, versus the later stuff. But Amber's been good as far as telling me like this has gone on too long as far as nothing's happening and I'm bored, that I would have cut that out of the last edit. So I think I do a good job of pacing wise, keeping the reader engaged and going on and on and on to the next part.
Do you plan like meticulously what you're going to write, or do you just write?
Now, I write, but it has to fit within the outline that I've described to myself and story beats that I need to hit in order to make it a successful story.
Do you have? I'm curious. Do you have an ending in mind?
Yeah,
Okay, interesting.
absolutely. So what I
So is this? I forget. Are you writing fiction or are you writing nonfiction?
it's fiction.
Okay.
But so here's the plot that I envision is the Shakespearean 5 act structure,
Okay.
right? So the first act is the opening, second act rising action, third act is a mini climax, right? The fourth act is a bit of a downer, and the fifth act gets you to the climax. So it's 2 peaks.
And does your story or your book or your initial book end on a climax, kind of like
Yeah.
Robert
Oh
Jordan?
yeah. So what I want is for every novel to follow that kind of structure by itself, but for the 5 novels put together to also follow that structure. Being like book 1 is nothing but introductions, yet within the introductions it still follows that 2 peak structure. Book 2 is rising action, so everything should be getting amped up, but should still follow the 2 peak structure. Book 3 should have a major climax, right? That from the Shakespearean stories, this is when Mercutio dies in Romeo and Juliet, right? Middle of the play. It's when Hamlet kills Polonius in the middle of the play, right? I need the big seminal changing event to happen in book 3. In book 4,
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit of a denouement or downer, like we'll catch up, we'll see where everyone's going, but it's all to set up for the ultimate climax, which is book 5, act 5, where climax.
Or
It's basically
where
an
Macduff confronts Macbeth, and you get this really long, clunky fight scene. And oh wait, sorry, I was thinking Roman
maybe.
Polanski's Macbeth. Have you ever seen that one?
No, but I do like the one with what's his nuts. Drawn a blank. He was in the Prometheus film, and
Um, um,
what
I
is
can't.
his fucking name?
I can't think of his name either.
He was in Prometheus. He was in
Let me
the
look.
Inglorious Bastards.
Prometheus. Who is it? Is it?
He
I
was the
think
robot.
the robot. Oh, not the freaking, not the freaking guy, not the freaking god
It
movie
was a Guy Pearce.
guy. No, it wasn't. No, Michael Fassbender.
That's him.
Michael
Fassbender,
Fassbender.
the
Yeah,
guy who could
when he
play
said
a
the
German.
robot. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I forgot. Yeah, that's right.
Michael
I think that,
Fassbender is in a fantastic Macbeth movie. Absolutely one from a cinematography point of view. That movie is fucking S tier.
Macbeth. When did he make a Macbeth movie? I don't even know about
It's
this
like 2011, 2012.
Let me look.
I have a really good TV that's all 4K, and I got it on fucking Apple, and it's gorgeous, and it's a well done film. So Michael Fassbender's Macbeth. Watch it on an OLED.
2015. No way.
Oh yeah, it's so good,
Holy
so
crap.
good.
No way. He's in it. Patty Considine from House of the Dragon. David Thewlis from Harry Potter.
I think What's Her Nuts from Chocolat is in there.
Marion Cotillard. I think she was
that's her.
Dark.
Marianne Cotillard. Yeah.
Wasn't she in The Dark Knight?
Maybe. Yeah. No, she might have been in the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, with Ms. Talia al Ghul. If I remember. Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she's the horror.
She's Talia. Yeah, she's Talia al Ghul. Yeah. Yep.
She's the horror who basically got slammed by Batman. Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
I fight crime in a leather suit. Really sealed in the flavor.
Yep. Yeah, definitely should check it out. And Judge Poriel, I'm sick of the absence of drunk Poriel whiskey train. Hey, I'm drinking right now.
He's
Yeah,
doing good, bud.
this guy's been. I started reading Blood Meridian. I got halfway through and I put it down to read more Wheel of Time. So,
Nice.
and he's hated me ever since. But I
Oh,
apparently resemble the main villain of the
Blood Meridian?
yeah,
Yeah,
Cormac McCarthy.
not for everyone.
I mean, if you like to see, like if you want to see a villain murdering kids and all that, it's
Oh,
that's
really?
it's yeah,
Huh.
it's a really dark. It's a western, but it's about a gang that just goes around and murders people basically, or like after the Mexican American War. So yeah, they go into Mexico and they just murder people basically,
But wait,
and scalp people.
real kids or Mexican kids? I'm sorry, don't answer that.
And I think there's a nonfiction element to this too. I
Well,
think like that, like the gang that the story follows is I think actually did happen. So but yeah, but I got halfway through it and they did this big massacre thing, and then I had to put it down. So it's very interesting choice of words. It's very sometimes you're like, am I reading a book or am I what am I reading? Like it seems like you're not really there. It's like it's very poetic,
Cormac McCarthy's
extremely poetic.
biggest advice to future writers is not to drink.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't take anything seriously what he says. That notwithstanding, I've read plenty because I got all the Pretty Horses, the like whole Border trilogy on the dude. He knows what he did, or because he's dead now. He knows what he was doing as far as defining kind of a genre, like how gritty it is. Like let's not use punctuation. Like make the reader work to understand what is happening. Don't make it easy on the reader with quotation marks and all the rest. Like make them fucking read it.
There was no quotations. There
Yeah.
was nothing like that. I'm like, I'm curious. I'm like, I'm not even sure. Like, I thought the story was from the perspective of this, this kid. He's called the kid. He doesn't have a name. And I thought it was from his point of view, and it's not really. It's not really.
Yeah.
So like sometimes like who am I reading this from? So yeah, it's an interesting thing. I'll probably resume it when I finish Wheel of Time next year.
This is one thing that I can promise my future readers. So Brian's getting a sneak peek of it, but I am a decade or two away from actually having my story done, because the one thing that I don't want to do is publish anything and not be complete, because that is what Jordan did. It's what Martin did. It's what Rothfuss did. It's arguably what Sanderson is doing with Stormlight, even though he might finish, but by his book 5 of his big magnum opus, he'll turn off 90% of his audience, kind of shit.
Yeah.
What a lot of fantasy guys do is they'll write a good opening act.
Yeah.
They'll get you hooked, and then they'll drag out to the finale, and they might not even have an idea of what the finale is.
I'm fairly certain Martin has no idea what that finale is.
And that's
14 years.
So mean from Martin's side, because it's so easy to write a good opening, right?
Yeah.
Because all you have to do is here's a character, I'll make them likable in a couple of chapters, and then I'll throw them into shit. And that'll get a reader hooked. Like, that's easy to do for an opening act. But the reader wants to see the character climb out of the shit. They want them to brush off the shit in the third act. Maybe one of them doesn't make it. That's like the Mercutio tragic fucking ending, and then they'll want to see
Ned Stark.
They'll want to see the character in the fourth act like do all the power ups, and by the fifth act they'll want to see them triumph. That's hard to do. The first act is easy. You can make a very, very good first act only novel. If that's all you're doing. Rothfuss, same thing. Introduction. Writing, this is my history of myself, blah, blah, blah. But you haven't had to resolve anything.
Have you read those? Have you read those books?
1.5 and wasn't impressed.
You didn't like In the Name of the Wind? Okay.
Not particular. Shallow and pedantic.
Okay. I listened to like the first few pages and I was just like,
no.
I mean, I wasn't really interested in what was being said. Like, whereas A Song of Ice and Fire, you know, I mean, I read that prologue and I was like, wow, holy crap, this is pretty interesting. This is pretty. I like the tone. I mean, I'm more of a horror guy. I kind of like the tone, and then, you know, seeing, you know, the first chapter, you know, outside of the forest, the first real chapter, and you know, Hugh passes the sun, swings the sword. We meet Bran and the rest of the family. And then, of course, you know, the very first, you know, what the fuck thing happens. You know, Bran gets pushed out of the window by Jaime Lannister and all that. And yeah, that's how the first episode of the series ends. And yeah, it hooked so many. It became mainstream because of that.
Yeah.
Now it's making all these shows. The new Dunkin' Egg is coming out in January.
Yeah. But again, it's super easy to start a story and a lot. I think this is an affliction of fantasy writers writ large, right? Because if you are going to be a successful fantasy writer, you don't need to come with a complete story. You need to come with a complete first act. And if anything, you promise to the publisher, oh, this is going to take me 20 books to finish. And they'll coom over themselves over that prospect. Like, if this is a good first act and it hooks people and you're able to sell 500,000 copies and every book after that sells even more and more, great. Make this as perpetual as you can be. So it's the Lost approach to television, but with books.
Gadfly brings up something interesting. What's up, David? One of the issues I find is that authors don't know what it is they want their book to say or what ideas they want to explore. Without that core thesis laid out, their story can end up waffling a lot. Yeah.
Or their thesis is tied to current day politics, or it meanders, or what they ultimately write is a character driven story as opposed to a thematic story.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a cool character in mind. What do they do? Who knows? All right.
So we haven't even gotten around to talking about this, what I got right in front of me. World of Wheel of Time.
Can you give me a 30-second interlude into that? Because I gotta run to the washroom.
Sure. Dude. So I haven't finished I mean, I have a lot left to read. There's like 30 million chapters here. So I read like the first couple that deal with like the pattern and like the nature of the universe, the cosmology. And of course the Wheel and the Power. There's how many sections? Wheel and the Power, section 1, 2 chapters. Then section 2, Age of Legends. Section 3, The World Since the Breaking. I did read the one thing I did want to read about that I didn't know much about was the Trolloc Wars. The Trolloc Wars I didn't know much about. And the thing that I'm curious about is I'm wondering if everything that is in this book now this came out after Crown of Swords. So this came out before book 8. So you get like there's a portion of the book that like there's some. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the artwork. I mean, some of the artwork, like the eyes are so far apart. It looks unsettling, but it does include like the art. Like I like this one right here. This is the White Tower right here. So this is a really cool one. It's a shame that they didn't. It's a shame the way they tried to make it look in the show, or they made it look in the show. So, Matt Cawthon, yeah, the guy we got Matt Cawthon right here. Interesting art right here of Matt.
Wait, Brian, you know that within the fandom they call this the big book of bad art, right?
I had no idea. But I swear,
It's apropos.
like the way they make Lan look like I would like holy. I'm like
Looks better than Daniel Henney.
that's true. That's true. Here's all the Daryl K. Sweet art right here from Eye of the World to Shadow Rising right here. So I'm trying to get past, or not Eye of the World to Crown of Swords. Let me see. I like the Perrin one. The Perrin art looks not bad. I like it.
But have you really looked at the Crown of Swords art and then look at Rand's legs?
Yeah, his legs are bigger than his arms. We did talk about that.
No, but he also has like one or two legs that have like hyper extended.
Really?
Just like look, like how does someone stand like that?
Let me look. You're right.
Let me get my book of that art out.
Right here. There he is. There he is. Right here. Look at those. Right there.
Yeah.
Shadar Laguth.
Shadar Lagut.
It's Shader. You mean Shader Logoth? No, Shadar Laguth.
Shadar Lagut.
That's what I said, you idiots.
I am referencing Rosamund Pike, who is the world's best fucking Wheel of Time
audiobook narrator too. Isn't she? Isn't she the best ever? Like move aside, Michael Kramer. Move aside, Kate Redding. We got Rosamund Pike.
But nobody
beats Michael Kramer.
I can get like 20 minutes into The World's End, and then I realize Rosamund Pike is in the movie, and I have to turn it off. And then I get like 30 minutes into Looper, and then I realize
she's in it.
No, I realize it's Emily Blunt, and it's not Rosamund Pike, so I can watch that movie. And similarly with Edge of Tomorrow, it's not Rosamund Pike, it's Emily Blunt. Sicario, that's Emily Blunt, it's not Rosamund Pike. I am blessed by the fact that there are so many movies that I think star Rosamund Pike, but actually star Emily Blunt, that I've got no reason for complaint. Emily Blunt, you are Rosamund Pike times 100. I love you. Rosamund Pike films. I think I saw that James Bond she was in. She was
in
not The Living Day. She Die Another Day, something stupid.
Oh yeah, she was the bitch. Yeah, she was the villain.
That was like her first role, and it sucked. But whatever.
Her and Halle Berry got to fight it out in the plane. You know, that's all.
It was really stupid.
It was really stupid, but it was a lot of fun to watch. You know, what can I say?
And I had chatter highlighting Gone Girl.
Guilty pleasure. I've not seen that. I've not seen Gone Girl.
In essence, like, I saw Gone Girl. If I would ever see it again, I'd be like sad Ben Affleck didn't kill her.
I haven't seen the movie, so
Don't worry about it. It's not worth it. Here, it's my big book of bad art.
So you got the
I got
white,
an OG one.
and it's a white cover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, look! I see. So I bought this from the greatest website ever. It's called Amazon, and I made
Love
the wise. I made the
Love
wise
Amazon.
decision.
They canceled the worst show ever. I love
Yeah.
Amazon.
Do you guys have something like this for me? Because I need it because I don't want to be reminded.
Oh, wait. Yeah, Pips was thinking about this. It's called a flicker sticker.
Yeah.
And it's basically for every single book cover that exists with like now a show on Amazon, you would sell a sticker that you could stick over that would like line up with the background art so that it would look like it would never exist.
Yeah.
I told Pips it would be a fucking $1 billion business, but he didn't believe me.
Yeah, and he's too busy. He's too busy leveling up, learning. He's piloting more planes and all that. So
yeah, exactly.
So to the guy that to the jerk that is the reason why I'm drinking right now. Cheers.
I'm going to blame my drinking on Pips too, even though that's not why.
But yeah, I was so my question for you is this. So is everything that's in this book was this all stuff that was already featured in the 7 books, or is there a lot of stuff that wasn't that's added for this?
There are no real spoilers in the Book of Bad Art. As far as the series, there are extra things that help contextualize stuff. Like the Strike on Trail Goal, I believe, is a short story contained here. As far as like extra info never dropped in the book series as to what were the political dynamics between Latra and Lewis Theron and the competing strategies, right? Let's go seal the boar. Let's use the 1 power. Let's seal him now versus no, we should use the Choden Cal and work together. And Lewis Theron decided, fuck all, like, if you guys aren't going to go with us, this is our last ditch attempt. Let's go do it.
Oh, okay. So I got a question. So the what were they called? The Nim? So are they not a natural race in this? I thought they were.
They might have been a construct involved with the power. It's ambiguous. Because
we only know that one guy was his name Someshta, or the Green Man.
The Green Man
from Eye of the World.
The last of the Nim, but everything mythos-wise in Wheel of Time, you have to keep in the back of your mind, is this a future history or not, right? Is this a pure fantasy world, or is this a alternate future history of Earth? But the big difference is Earth as we know it doesn't have a 1 power. So the argument could be, and this has been done in fan forums or whatnot, that the first age is our age. The second age starts when mankind discovers the 1 power. And everything between the second age and the third age is then like Age of Legends theory kind of stuff. So things like the Ogier coming, and the Ogier are explained to have been like extraterrestrials who came from a different planet and came to Earth for whatever reason. But the Nim also were a 1 power quasi construct. So, because there are hints early on in Eye of the World that this is a future history. When Robert Jordan, when Tom Maryland has tales older than the Age of Legends, he's talking about like Mosk and Merc, so America and Moscow, and their lances that cross the world, talking about Lisbeth, Queen of the World, that's Elizabeth, talking about a lot of those you can read into kind of current day corollaries, or at least our history. So he's definitely teasing with that. The sad thing is the TV show leaned into this fucking cyclical history like you wouldn't believe, and made a fucking mincemeat out of it. Because at the end of the day, that is not central to the story whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Hope I made sense.
So there's a dark one and a creator in our timeline too. So
Could be.
all the other religions, all the other religions proved to not be so.
Well, all you got to admit is the Zoroastrians were right.
Was it from? I thought it was from Hinduism that the wheel of time came from.
That's the cyclical nature of time, but the idea of a right and a wrong, it's Manichaeanism, right? It's Zoroastrianism that both have influence on the world, and that there's a constant conflict between good and evil. Like those are very old, ancient ideas, but they're ultimately not Christian ones. They're not Judeo-Christian or Islamic ones either. So he's playing with mythology.
But the nature of good and evil is different than Christian.
And ultimately, I don't want to spoil it for you, but ultimately, no, because I think Robert Jordan in his heart was a Christian. I think the message was very Episcopalian.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think it's actually a very beautiful message. So this is why a lot of people will give Brandon Sanderson the benefit of the doubt, or benefit of what they've read for 3 books. Whatever they gripe about as far as his prose, he ended the series appropriately in order to convey the message, which I believe was at the heart of what Robert Jordan wanted to convey. So what I'm saying there is the theme that Robert Jordan wanted to beat into everyone's head after reading all his books about good and evil, right and wrong, everything else, it lands well and it lands hard in the final book. And it's very well done.
Okay. I'm curious how I'm just curious how the final books are going to be. Like I'm curious if the stakes are going to be really high, or if the Forsaken are still going to be, buffoons. Because I'll be honest, after reading the end of book 9, I'm not sure I'm really looking forward to the end.
Yeah, no.
Because if it's just going to be buffoonery after buffoonery, then it's not gonna have much of an impact on me. So that's part of the reason why I'm really slow with reading reading book 10, and knowing that book 10 is the low point.
No, I get it. It's like you only get as invested as the villain your heroes are trying to defeat, right? So if
it's got it's got to be, I don't know how to say it. It helps. I guess it helps me care about what's going on more. That's usually how I get. That's usually how I get invested. Maybe it's a a layman's way of getting invested in something, but
No, you're at crossroads. I
well,
remember buying that book the day it came out. I remember reading it the day it came out from cover to cover. And I remember throwing it across my room when I finished it and nothing fucking happened.
yeah. I mean, it's not just that. It's just I kind of felt the same about the end of book 9. I know everybody loves the the
No,
cleansing, the
the
cleansing.
ending is good, but it's just like I went
It
through all that.
it just happened. It just happened in the chapters. Like, oh, we go kill some people in Farmatting.
No,
Then they
no
fall.
it's
Then they go to a place, and Penfane, does his little,
right.
just
It's a
ambush him.
common criticism. People have heard it over and over. And in all honesty, what I think this is a deficiency of how the series was edited, in part because it started getting published before it was finished, but also there's the nepotism angle, and that the editor who was ultimately in charge of telling Robert Jordan, this book is doing fucking nothing. You're not advancing the story. The pacing's going to a crawl, whatever. She was in 50-50 on the $1 million that he would make because it was a New York Times bestseller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
So keep writing, and keep making keep writing, keep making that money. Yeah, why not?
But that goes to fantasy writ whole. There are very few genres that will afford you the opportunity to write a first act and have it published.
Yeah.
Because most of other publishers basically say, we want your full story, beginning, middle, and end. But it's only really fantasy, maybe science fiction, where you could only write the beginning and get a paycheck for it.
Now, did he give them the outline for the 6 books, or was it
Kind of, sort of, 3 books, and then they thought, oh well, you're going to go long, and it was like, okay, we'll sign you up for 6 books. But
it's crazy
yeah.
that he had to write all that in like year after year after year. That's just crazy.
Yeah, so the reason why the first 6 books came out as rapidly as they did is because he was under contract for those. And then after the 6th book came out, Path of Daggers, or sorry, Crown of Swords, Path of Daggers, they took longer and they were shorter because he was earning his meal ticket. But it's also, those first 6 books got him the New York Times number 1 bestseller status.
Yeah.
So if he told his publisher, it's going to take me more books and it's going to take me longer to come out with this, they were fine with that at this point because that just meant more money for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But where I'm going, and like I gave you an early draft of my own novel. The main reason why I don't want to publish anything that I will write until I'm actually done is precisely because of this promise. Because the fantasy readership is fucking sick of getting very good early books and then the series doesn't finish. So if
any other examples besides sorry, I'll finish your point. I'm sorry.
Rothfuss is one, George R. R. Martin and Robert Jordan is another. And those are arguably some of the 3 biggest. J.K. Rowling didn't have this. She's like the rarity of getting her IP turned into a movie series and getting it freaking finished. But she is a plotter, not a gardener.
She's a what?
So she's a plotter, not a gardener.
Plotter,
so she plotted her series out, but maybe she rushed her final books. But at the end of the day, she was writing for kids. I don't think her prose is the best, but I don't want to throw shade before I've actually published my own series, and I will not throw shade on J.K. Rowling until I've outsold her novels.
Okay.
Which means I probably will never throw shade on J.K. Rowling. Joanne, you my girl. All right.
Yeah,
but what I mean,
yeah,
it's basically my ambition, right? Because I'm not a publish or die kind of writer. I'm doing this as a hobby, and I want it to be good. I don't want to be 3 books in and then decide, oh my God, that's a great idea. If only I could set stuff up in the first 3 books. If they're published, you can't change it. Right? So,
yeah.
And the other thing that I'm learning with working with Amber is that it doesn't take a lot to fix things. If you have a problem in your story, sometimes all it needs, the earlier you go back and set something up because of that butterfly effect,
Yeah.
the easier it is to fix things in your story.
Mm-hmm.
So if something's not landing well, like just go early and drop a hint, and
yeah,
an attentive reader will pick up on that. You don't need to do anything more than that. Sometimes it's even only a word or a sentence that needs changing, or something needs to get excised. But that is 100% what hampers a lot of fantasy writers who have published, is they come up with good ideas as they're writing and discovering their own world, and then realizing, fuck, I am constrained not by my world, but by what I have published.
Yeah.
Because it could still fit within the world they've envisioned, but it might feel like this is a contrived plot point because this is the first time they explain the shit in detail.
Mm-hmm. Has there ever been a case where, where someone wrote everything complete? I know Tolkien completed Lord of the Rings. Obviously, it was 1 book, and his publisher said, "No, we're splitting it into 3 because we can't." What was that? What's their excuse? They couldn't bind it. They couldn't bind the book or something.
This is what a lot of people forget about Lord of the Rings. So Lord of the Rings was a trilogy as it came out. So all fantasy series were like, you got to write trilogies, kind of thing. That's like their fucking shit. What they don't realize is that Lord of the Rings was 1 book.
Yeah,
and the publisher told Tolkien, "No, we can't bind it this big. It's got to come as a trilogy." And then Tolkien's like his own divisions were 6 books, right? So Fellowship is 2 books.
Yeah.
2 Towers is 2 books, and Return of the King is 2 books. But the last half of it is all appendices and whatnot. But yeah, it's like he had it all written, right? So the people who are reading him told him, "Hey, why don't they take the Eagles to Mordor?" Kind of shit. Maybe they didn't say that, but they should have. But most of the plot holes and whatnot were already sorted out because of that. He spent a better part of a decade writing not a series of books in sequence. He wrote them all out as one, and they came out in sequence just because of publishing mechanics. Now,
I think the reason they didn't take the Eagles is they would have been seen.
If I was a developmental editor for Tolkien, not saying that I would be as smart enough, but I probably would have mentioned this fell beast that the Fellowship encounters close to Amon-Hen or whatnot. You need to amp that up, and you probably need to show one killing a big ass fucking eagle in the sky during that fight. The reason the Fellowship can't fly to Mordor is because all the ring wraiths and the fell beasts are in the sky patrolling the border.
Yeah.
The reason why the Eagles can come and rescue Frodo and Sam at the end is precisely because the ring has been destroyed and all the ring wraiths are dead.
Yeah.
That's all. Again, what I'm saying and what I've learned from working with Amber so much is it doesn't take a lot to fix a plot hole or whatever in a story. Like, especially early on, because errors cascade into catastrophic problems.
Mm-hmm.
You catch them early on, and you can plug the hole or right the ship or do whatever. Don't think you can write a good story on your own. That's all I'll say for aspiring writers. You need professional help.
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, like you can make 1,000, you can make 1 billion mistakes, and you wouldn't even know it. And that's why you need people, experienced people that can spot all the problems, spot a good chunk of the problems.
You could spot a lot of them all on yourself,
Yeah,
but you might not be able to come up with a solution. So that's a difference as well between a critic and an editor. A critic can I can spot all the problems with the fucking story. I can do that. But
how do you resolve that?
Exactly. But that's not my job as a critic. As my job as a critic, I can just tell you what's shit. The job of an editor is infinitely more difficult because that's coming up with, okay, that's a problem. How do you fix it? That is beyond my remit, but that is what Amber does extraordinarily well. And I'll leave it at that.
The Eagles, but I've heard this argument too. Hey, you need a Deus Ex Machina somewhere, I guess. I don't know. I'm curious. Do you have it? Have you made any use of Deus Ex Machina in your story at all?
No.
So is there any? My question is I haven't. I mean, I haven't read your story yet.
I hope you do.
Is there any action, or is it mostly, dialogue, intellectual dialogue?
It's 312,000 words so far for the first volume. So
how many pages is that usually? 312,000 words.
If you divide it by 500 pages, it's about, I'd say, 650 words.
Okay.
So that's normal. You take the word count, you divide it by 500. That fits on like a paperback or whatnot. But that's a rough word count. It's slightly more than The Eye of the World. It's not as long as Lord of Chaos or those books.
Mm-hmm.
But it's up there. Yeah, definitely not.
So do you incorporate like religion like Robert Jordan does, or do you? I know you're a big history buff. Obviously, you have the entire history of the Roman Empire on your shelf right behind.
Let me give you the Cole's notes on what to expect. Okay, it's one novel, but it follows 5 POVs. Unlike A Song of Ice and Fire, where you get different POVs, but they all happen kind of in chronological order, in that you start with the Bran chapter, then you get a Tyrion chapter, you get a Jon Snow chapter and whatnot. But the story at least kind of goes chronologically. So it's like you're watching a TV episode, but you don't have to rewind ever.
Yeah.
Right? What I'm doing is you have 5 POVs. You start with William. You get his story from beginning to end. And then the second POV, Charlotte, you're back to the beginning. And you get some overlap with William, but it's really her story. But the same events over the same time period. And then you start with Henry, and you get, again, back to the beginning, same time period, same story, same interactions, but different. And then Richard and Eleanor. So it's more like Pulp Fiction. right? Where you get
Oh, where it's non-linear, basically.
the overall story isn't, but from the character's POV, it is linear. But once you've digested it all, yes, it's non-linear in terms of the info that's dumped on the reader.
So you do like a cluster of chapters of this point of view, kind of like what Robert Jordan does, and then you go to the next point of view cluster.
It's a full novella length, like beginning to end. Every
and then you repeat it with the next point of view.
Next point of view,
same
but
time, same
again,
diff.
roughly the same days and time period. But
sounds like Rasha. It makes me think of Rashomon.
Could be.
You know what I'm talking about? The
No,
Kurosawa film, where you get multiple points of view on the same event.
But again, I'm only doing this for this book because the amount of fucking headaches that I had to run with like 5 characters, their timelines, and how everything moved up. I deliberately basically set all my characters up to go to different directions for the next book, precisely because their timelines would not overlap and would not interact. So, but yeah, the best thing I could do to explain it at a high level is take Pulp Fiction and take Memory, Sorrow, or not
Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn.
No, not there are enough Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn like illusions in the early. It's
isn't there only one point of view? It's the boy. And
so
at least
Game of Thrones chapter from a character POV, but you string that along for 14, 15 chapters.
Yeah.
And then first act of their story done. Let's go to the first act of the next story.
Or the next point of view character or something. Yeah. Interesting. I like it. I usually like it when point of view characters kind of intersect like that. It's kind of, I think that's part of the Song of Ice and Fire appeal.
In part, but one thing that A Song of Ice and Fire never does is have the same conversation repeat. Right? Where you have a Tyrion chapter, but then later on you have a Lord Varys chapter or a Daenerys chapter, and the same words get spoken, but the dialogue tags or the internal thoughts are from the POV character.
Yeah.
So that's what I can actually do. I have my characters meet each other and they have these interactions, and I'll repeat the same dialogue, but all of the thoughts and tags or whatever, when I'm in a Williams section, it's from Williams' point of view and what he's thinking, what the words mean. And then we'll have the exact same scene, and it's from Henry, who is talking to, but it would be from his POV, and it would mean something different.
Because I guess, since you're using common names, does your story take place in our world, or does this story take place in an alternate world?
You'll see.
Okay, I guess I gotta see.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm getting a little drunk right here. I'm feeling it right now. So I better finish the rest of this.
Well, we've been going for nearly 2 hours.
Cheers.
It's been a fun chat. I'm not going to cheer you on an empty glass. It's almost as bad as water. But that's all I got. Champ.
Well, that's it. I finally finished this Lagavulin. Blame Dain for making me aware of this.
Out of scotch, out of time.
Yeah, I think the reason why I bought this particular one was because it was the most expensive. I went to Binny's and this was like $120, I think.
You need to find a better liquor store.
Well, Binny's has like the widest selection of shit.
No, not the best.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really found another liquor store that has.
It's okay if you start spending more than like 20% of your monthly income on booze, you might have a problem. That's what I keep telling myself.
I'm curious. I'm curious how big. I've seen Pips's liquor cabinet in person. I'm curious what's in yours.
I don't have one because I drank it all.
Well, by the way, what wine were you drinking?
It, I am a big fan of the Zinfandels from Lodi, California.
Zinfandel. Isn't that a white wine? Yeah, that's a.
No,
Isn't that like a?
no,
It's red.
Zinfandels are great, but the Californians have done something amazing with Zinfandel as far as doing the blends appropriately or timing it right. That
No, you're right.
fuck the Cabernets, fuck the Merlots, fuck the Pinot Noirs. But not all Zinfandels are the same. You get a good red Zinfandel from Lodi, California.
Yeah.
It is the best bang for your buck. It is delicious and it's reasonably priced. So,
Which Zinfandel again? You said
so the
California?
one I had here was the 7 Deadly Zins, but my favorite is actually the Gnarly Head Zinfandel. Except I probably drank all of the Gnarly Head that's in Alberta. So the provincial distributor responsible for purchasing and sending to all liquor stores could not keep up with my demand.
7 Deadly Zins. Wow. Only me in this state would find only find that funny. So
it's a pretty good pun.
it pretty much is. Oh my god. Oh my god. We barely talk about the history. We barely talk about the world and the wheel of time.
It's okay.
Yeah. Well, we still got some time, I guess. I don't know how much longer. I don't know how much. What time is it by you, by the way? You're aren't you like?
I'm only one, but
are you Pacific? Are you Pacific or Mountain Time in Calgary?
Mountain. I just got to take Ollie for a walk soon. That's all.
All right.
Poor guy probably needs to shit or has taken a shit in my living room. So we'll see.
Oh no. So I was reading some of this. I was reading some of this a couple days ago. I'm trying to refresh my knowledge of the cosmology of the pattern and everything, and the nature of the wheel. So I'm reading this. I'm trying to understand like why Taverin appear in the first place, and it seems like it says that the great pattern gets spread out to the point where it's like, what was it? Was it like asymmetric or something? And then they bring it to Taverin to kind of bring it back to, symmetry, to balance, so to speak.
Not necessarily symmetry, but the creator creates the pattern. The Dark One wants to destroy the pattern. Right? So it's not like they're equals in this. The creator can cause Taverin to get spun out to like correct where the pattern goes. The Dark One does not have that power because the creator, this is his playground. The Dark One is there to fucking destroy it.
Yeah,
first and foremost
wants to break the wheel or something, if I remember correctly.
Wants to end time, wants to do all that. So the creator within the world of the wheel of time, using Taverin, that's kind of like, all right, I'm going to send this soul out into the world, and that's going to be a corrective mechanism. They are going to rectify stuff.
But isn't like the whole Taverin thing like it's not something you're born with, according to the book, according to the series. It's something that just kind of happens to you.
Yeah, yes and no.
Your life.
Because it might not be tied to you at a certain point in your time. Because Rand, if he was Taverin while he was in the Two Rivers, well, arguably you wouldn't have noticed it to begin with, right? So Rand was raised in the Two Rivers in order to raise him right. So it was, they're setting him up in the preconditions to develop his character. So it would be tautological that his character would get oriented correctly because of his Taverinhood. It's only when he goes out into the world and events start shaping themselves around him when Loyal notices that he must be Taverin. Right?
Okay, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
basically when his story begins in chapter 1 that he becomes Taviran, or no?
There is nothing in Rand's backstory relayed to us as readers to suggest that there was anything special about him prior to that. He did
Yeah.
not survive anything by a big stroke of luck. He did not, change the course of events of his village when he was 9 years old and said, "Hey, why don't we do this instead of that?"
Yeah.
It's entirely like when he's out of it, and it's really the Loyal chapters in Camelin where Loyal notices like these are significant events, and I can't believe you made it so far. That characters like Moraine and Lan realize, oh, we might be dealing with not just one Taviran but three. And then by the Great Hunt, you have Swan Sanche, who has a talent to see Taviran. She's able to confirm that yes, Rand, Mat, and Perrin are Taviran. Leaving aside how rumors of 4 Taviran would ever manifest in this fucking planet, that is just a testament to the fucking dipshittery of the people in charge of the TV show. And I'm glad, they all can't ever get employed with anything because they're retarded.
So I'm reading our chat right now. I don't know if you saw what's in the chat. So someone say your story is like Naruto.
Wait, what? What did I say?
Someone said your story is like Naruto.
I don't get that reference. I'm not Captain America.
Anime Naruto is like a 1,000 episode anime about a kid that wants to become a ninja.
Nice.
Ninja master. So
I'll take it as a compliment rather than an insult.
So yeah.
Anyways, episode 1003.
1,000. Yeah, pretty. That's more One Piece. Oh crap! Oh shit! Oh my god!
I'm a little drunk, says Nerd. Oh wait, sorry. You haven't had that much.
Well, I drank the rest of I drank the. See, I'm repeating myself. I drank the rest of this. I drank the rest of this shit.
It's good though, right? It's like campfire.
Well, I mean,
I
don't have any heartburn, so I guess I'm all red. I'm all so yeah. I don't know.
You only get worried when you get the kidney stones.
I don't. I'm sorry that happened to you. Like, I liked how you used to friends. Everyone's like, "What happened to you?" And you showed the friends reference. I'm like, okay, I know exactly what you're talking.
In all fairness, what I think now is I got big into those pressed juice drinks where you get like, you remember Christian Bale as Batman, and what's his nuts Alfred would like give him like this big green drink, or whatever, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna get fit like this guy, so I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna drink nothing but these fucking pressed juice, like blended green as fuck shit. I found them at the supermarket, started buying them. Then I find out after I have the like world's most painful experience at the fucking hospital, you have too much spinach, especially in blended style, that those generate kidney stones like you wouldn't fucking believe. Like they are worse than drinking too many sugary drinks.
What's this called again? Let me write down so I don't drink it.
So if you drink pressed juices, especially those like deep green ones that are like mostly blended spinach, do not drink
spinach. It's spinach, because spinach is something you want to stay away from.
If you drink too much spinach like this, you will end up with kidney stones in half a year.
What is it called? Calcitane?
Yeah, it's like kale, spinach, blended in like some deep green juice, and you think you're being super healthy because you're drinking what Christian Bale drank in like Batman movies.
Yeah.
No. It is worse for you than fucking Red Bulls.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Like when you get our age, cut out the sugar because that crystallizes and whatnot. But holy fuck, the spinach drinks, like, don't even go there.
Yeah. Oxalates. Yep. Kidney stones. Yep.
I cut those out entirely, and I have not had a problem since.
I wonder if coffee causes that too. I'm a big coffee guy. Like I drink a lot. I try to drink enough water. I've been drinking more water because I've been
dehydration could be another risk. But if you were drinking too much spinach and the oxalates, as what's not said, again, the risk of alcohol is dehydration. The risk of drinking too much coffee is with dehydration. As long as you can maintain kind of drinking enough water, you should be fine with that.
Yeah.
But for the love of God, eat your spinach, only a little bit. Get your vitamin C elsewhere. Do not blend it and then think, oh, I drank this thing and I'm good for 2 days as far as my my vitamins.
What vitamin C you get from oranges? You get from tomatoes. Strawberries.
But don't overdo it on anything spinachy, right?
Yeah. You don't want to.
That's all I'm saying.
You don't really want to overdo any like calcium. You don't want to overdo it on calcium or even vitamin D. You think having too much vitamin D is a good thing? No, it's not. It ruins your kidneys if you're not careful. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So I haven't been taking vitamin D supplements for a while, but.
Yeah, I've been trying to get myself back onto vitamin the B the B.
One thing I will say. So when I went to the hospital that one time with the like blockage or what, it is excrucitaking. So one, you don't ever want to get in that situation. But fuck,
I've seen my dad, and I've seen my dad. I've seen my dad
take an Advil. Is one like that. Advil helps with the pain way more than the Tylenol did. But yes, go to a hospital if you do have that problem, or go see a urologist because they do have medicines that help the blockages kind of flow through, right?
Yeah.
So if you're feeling pain in the back where the kidneys are or going lower, and you have been drinking too much spinach or too much booze like I have, you think that might be in there, and you're in your early 40s like us, and especially if you were dehydrated. So that's the other thing. When this happened to me, I came back from a long flight, and airplane flights dehydrate you, especially if you don't drink water on them. Fuck, that was bad. But yeah.
Brussels sprouts, any dark leafy greens. I like some good Brussels sprouts. You get you fry them on the pan. You get that crisp, get that crisp and all that. It's really.
I get it. It's just like eat that every day in your blender. You're gonna get fucking.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. So
that is literally what my issue was. Is like starting in March this year, I noticed it in the supermarket. These deep green kind of pro veggie drinks. I'm just like, fuck it. I'm going to drink those because it'll keep me healthy. And then within weeks of it, I felt kind of the pains or whatever in my tract coming down from here and didn't know what it was. And then it took me a month or two after that to realize it was in my urology tract and tied to my kidneys, and that I really shouldn't be drinking this type of stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's I'll definitely keep that in mind because I used to get those. I go to the store. They used to have go to the juice bar. They would have like the spinach juice. I used to get those.
And you think the greenest, the healthiest, but for me, it was the fucking opposite.
Like, oh my god! Like, I'm guessing you had to pee it out, basically, right?
Yeah, that's not so bad. The real pain is when it's higher up in your tract because it gets wider as you kind of get out, so it gets easier to fucking pass something like that. Yeah. So that's what they told me is basically, all right, we see evidence of a blockage, but they couldn't see anything. which means if it didn't show up on the ultrasound,
Yeah.
it was too small to observe, which means it was microscopic, which means, yeah, you could pee it out, essentially, right? So it causes a blockage higher up in your tract because it's narrower. Once it gets farther down, it's easier to flush out. And I'm very sorry to our 5 audience guests who didn't want this crash lesson in urology, but it's like the biggest thing that happened to me in the last 2 months.
Yeah. But we heard about it, and yeah, it's well, at least he got through it. I mean, I think, where did I first hear? I mean, I think the priest of my church had a kidney stone. Heard about that, and then there was a Seinfeld episode where Kramer has a kidney stone, and
there's a Friends one.
Yeah, the Friends episode. Yeah, that you reference. You're like, we're all like, what's going on with you? And then you show like Joey's in the hospital and he has this little thing. And I was like, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's fucking bad.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Are you dying? Kind of. What's happening? Kidney stone. Oh god.
Okay.
It fucking sucks. So
yeah, I don't want one. I don't want to get one myself.
Drink enough water. Stay away from the spinach. Stay away from things that dehydrate you, like alcohol to an extent. But everything that I've read, it's just like it can't be the culprit, because like I've been a drunk for years, and I haven't gotten these things. It was only really in like the last 6 months when I was trying to be healthy that I shot myself in the foot. So
you tried to be healthy and you had to. That's funny and
fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. But yeah, alcohol is not really a problem for me. Like I can live, like, if you took away
the first Polishman ever.
If you could take away alcohol from me, I'd be fine. If you took away the Wheel of Time series, and I never finished, I would probably be fine.
Star Trek.
I could be fine.
No. I should clarify that. Not like I take away all new Star Trek from you, because you probably like sacrifice to the devil for me to do exactly that. But I'd be saying,
can you take it away so it never gets shown again to anybody?
No, I'd be saying like you are never allowed to watch any old Star Trek or new Star Trek, anything Star Trek ever again. You could not watch it. You could not stream it. You could not. It would not be available to you for reconsumption. All you would have is your memories of it.
And that would be perfectly fine. That would be perfectly fine. Because you know what?
And then I'd give you Alzheimer's.
And then...
Sorry, I'm kidding.
And then... Okay, that's where
I got
to draw a line. That's where I got to draw a line.
It's a trolley problem. That's what I'm throwing.
That's a what problem?
It's a trolley problem.
A trolley problem?
Yeah, it's the
trolley from Mr. Rogers. That trolley?
No, it's the moral conundrums of like, I'll give you a switch. You could pick the trolley goes down track A and kills 5 people, or goes down track B and kills 1 person, but that person happens to be George Washington.
Oh, that is a conundrum. I don't know.
I know that there's like fields within university studies all about trolley problems.
Trolley problems. I'll have to between trolley problems and
yeah, you thought you'd get a conversation with me without learning anything. You were fucking wrong.
Hey, well, I was watching that video. I was watching that Dawkins video you sent me about game theory and about the whole idea of the idea that cooperation is widely rewarded versus not cooperating versus backstabbing, or what was how would the game go?
Defection.
So what exactly is defection? Is that just basically screwing over the other guy, basically?
So let me provide a wider context, and hopefully I can do this in the next 5 minutes before our entire audience just nopes out. The key concept here, Brian, is what's called an evolutionary stable strategy, ESS in the lingo.
Okay.
Because what a lot of people get wrong about evolution is that it's chance related or happenstance, or it's a random mutation that happens to do well and therefore gets selected.
Keyword random that you're just saying right now.
So mutations are random. Survival is not random.
No.
That is why evolution works as a theory, because natural selection is the non-random survival of random mutation. So there's nothing random about natural selection. It is savage as far as it concerns survival versus non-survival. There is nothing random about us as a phenotype. Everything about us has been selected through countless generations of life and death. That's one thing. But there are broader parts of evolution that can adopt a strategic mindset or a strategic rubric as far as analysis goes. And one of the easiest ones to explain to people is sex.
Okay.
In that, we are a two-sex species. A lot of species, most species on Earth, are male-female. The reason for that is because every new generation is a combination of the male and the female, and there are vast autoimmune benefits to that. Because asexual reproduction, where you just copy one generation to the next, will be
so basically mitosis.
Yeah, they would be susceptible to the same diseases as the generation before. So in the long run, sexual selection beats asexual reproduction, hands down, largely because of the inherent dangers of diseases, viruses, bacteria, whatever on the immune system. There is an immune benefit to sexual reproduction that asexual reproduction cannot match. Now, with sexual reproduction, why is it that every fucking species on Earth has been 50-50 male or female, like down the middle, with minor deviations? And it's because if there was a bigger benefit to being males than females, and maybe there would be, right? Because if the males were more dominant and the male genes were better able to get progeny one way or the other through whatever reason, not social or whatever, it was just they were more virile and more likely to impregnate the women than the females were. What would happen is that the genes within a society like that benefited the minority would be selected heavier than anyone else. And it would drive the sexual selection towards equilibrium. If the males were favored 60% to 40%, the females the other way around, but you were a man who had more more female progeny in this situation, you would then benefit because there's the same supply of males, but the females or whatnot, you would basically be more represented within a generation or two. So through sexual selection, there is a stable strategy that only reaches equilibrium at 50-50 or close to it. You veer too far out from one way or the other, and the genetics will basically veer it back to 50-50. It's guaranteed. It doesn't matter what species it is. It doesn't matter what timeline it is. The same was true for the fucking Brachiosaurus as it is for humans.
So 50-50.
with a male-female situation, 50-50 is how it has to be. There's no deviation around it. So from this rubric of evolutionary stable strategies, what Dawkins did in The Selfish Gene is analyze altruism.
Yeah.
And it answers or attempts to answer a very important question: is why does altruism even exist? Not just in the human world, but it exists in the animal world too.
Yeah, that was that was actually interesting. The ones that the ones that won the game, the prisoner's dilemma game, were the most altruistic. Were the ones that did not hold grudges, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That were willing from the get-go to cooperate, and cooperation is what I forget what the prisoner's dilemma game you get if both parties, so the two players are separated, and they have to make a choice between cooperation and was it defection was the other one. And so defection is basically screwing the other person over,
which is the rational choice, which is the huge insight from this game. I got so disappointed when I took game theory, economic game theory, because it's such a simple game. I didn't even think it was a game. It's so dumb, it's so basic. But yeah, but it's strategy 101, right? And strategy is, what do you do anticipating the action of the other person that you're playing with or against, right? Yeah. That is the notion of it. But in simplest form, you give a yes/no question to two players, you have a matrix of 4 outcomes, right?
Yeah.
And within the prisoner's dilemma, what's insightful about it when you rank the choices from 1 through 4 is that cooperation leads to a suboptimal outcome as far as the points they could have got, right? They only get 3 points at the cooperation point, but it leads to a socially optimal outcome because 3 plus 3 equals 6.
Yeah.
And the other options are a defect plus a cheat. So that's a 4 plus a 1, or a 1 plus a 4, that's only 5. Or a defect or cheat, which leads to 2 and 2, which is only 4 points. So the socially optimal outcome, which is what evolutionists are concerned with, happens when people cooperate.
Yeah.
And the suboptimal outcome is the rational one. So this goes back to the Russell Crowe movie with the blonde, right? The Beautiful Mind.
Yeah, Beautiful Mind.
If you remember that, it was like, no one takes the blonde, right? We all hit on the brunettes, because if we all compete with each other to try and get the blonde, we're not cooperating. We're all pursuing our own self-interest. Well, one of us might end up with the blonde, the rest of us get cock blocked or whatever. But the true way to get to the socially optimal outcome is to hit on all the brunettes differently, and at least we'll all get laid. You won't get laid by a blonde, but you'll get laid by a brunette. So you won't get 4 points, you'll get 3. Mm-hmm. That's the crux of that whole scene. But it's why they gave John Nash the Nobel Prize in economics, because he basically was the first intellectual firepower behind saying Adam Smith was wrong. Everybody pursuing their own self-interest does not necessarily lead to socially optimal outcomes. And in fact, evolution proves this. Like that, there are reasons why species cooperate, or even between species, right? The shark that opens up its maw because it wants fish to come in and eat the like little food bits between its teeth. The fact that the shark doesn't close its jaw and eat the fish afterwards, like that would be a 4-pointer, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gets his teeth cleaned and he gets a snack. But why doesn't he? Why does he stay at the 3? Why does he stay at that suboptimal outcome? And the insight with all of Dawkins and later stuff is, if the shark was only playing this game once, he totally would close his jaw and eat all the fish. But because he has to basically play it again and again and again and again and again and again and again, he is looking for the longer term. So he is looking for a strategy that gives him the most points over the long run. Anyways, where we're going with this, Brian, is this is where I think human morality actually comes from.
And you think that's why they and this was something I wanted to ask you after, this is something that came up when I was watching. I didn't finish the documentary, by the way.
No, go ahead.
But I'm curious if that's why religion kind of got started, like they started building those institutions, was to promote altruism and to help promote civilization.
Because here, Brian, here's the big deficiency of the prisoner's dilemma, and they've run this in experiments, right? If you let two players know that you're going to play for 30 games, right? So yeah. I hope you've seen enough of the documentaries that, like, at least initially they like all cheat against each other, but when they realize they're playing again and again and again, players will reach out to each other. They'll send signals like, I want to cooperate. I don't want to keep earning 2 points every game. I want to start earning 3, but they'll only do it for so much. But when you get sophisticated players, so players, econ students who are in their 3rd or 4th year of studies or whatnot, who are familiar with this, if you get them to run a game and you tell them there's a deadline, you tell them there's an end, we're only going to run this 30 games. By game 26, 27, 28, they start cheating again, right? Mm-hmm. So someone near the end of their life who doesn't care about repercussions, doesn't care about their reputation, if they think this is the end and that's it, they turn into absolute, utter fucking dipshits. Absolutely. You cannot, in the prisoner's dilemma universe, atheistic universe I envision, you cannot trust a person over 65. They will be the worst fucking hack cheaters that you could ever believe, because they don't care about their reputation at all whatsoever, and they're only out for themselves.
Makes me think of that Planet of the Apes quote: "Never trust anybody over 40 or 30 or something like that." So.
And you shouldn't.
I know I'm one of them. We're one of them.
You're right to kind of sense this impulse, right?
Yeah.
Because the natural conclusion is, all right, if this is true and we're reliant on repeated games and we're relying on people concerned about their reputation, then what happens when you're dealing with someone who's close to the end, who maybe doesn't have kids, doesn't care, doesn't give a shit about anything beyond
they have nothing. They have nothing to lose. And
do you want to deal with someone like that? And it becomes a guessing game as to how far in advance are you willing to do that? One of the great parables in history is actually, it's the Ring of Gyges, and you'll appreciate this because this is Frodo's ring.
Mm-hmm.
The Ring of Gyges, as expressed in both Plato and Herodotus, is that ring that renders someone invisible. And this is where the whole idea of power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. This is where it comes from. Because what the Ring of Gyges does is it removes all repercussions from any ill action that someone does. So if Frodo had that ring, he could do whatever he wanted. He could basically go into the Hobbiton bank, steal everything while he had it up, like the ring on, and be spending the money the next day kind of shit, and be like, oh, where'd that come from? Oh, I didn't. Did you see me? Kind of shit. Like, it would corrupt him, right? A ring of turning somebody invisible and turning that into corruptible power, that predates Tolkien by 2,000 years.
Yeah, I had no idea. I have to read Republic. I have the Republic.
It's tough. But
I got that. I have sorry.
Read it within the context of a prisoner's dilemma game, where all of a sudden you are not worried about the next one, right? You're not worried about your reputation. You're not worried about someone carrying a grudge against you and cheating against you, right? You've been liberated from that. And why wouldn't you adopt the cynical strategy of looking out for yourself first? the defect strategy rather than something cooperative.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very simple game, but it explains a shit ton of human behavior at a base level, which ultimately you can only get out of a simple game. So I had political science professors who didn't like game theory because they thought it was reductionist, and they thought that, like, oh, all you moralists are tit for tatters. But at the end of the day, this is a mathematically certain, evolutionarily substantiated explanation as for why the golden rule is the golden rule. You should treat others as you would want to be treated. It's written right into the math.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
And the thing is, that's not a biblical parable. That is a universal mathematical truth that is independent of mankind, because we see it in other species, and it would be independent because it would be the case on other planets if they had actually evolved life like us.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually all really, really, really interesting. Like stuff I was not even aware of. So, we could thank this esoteric guest of ours for bringing this stuff to my attention. So, what can I say?
Sorry, that was a half-hour interlude to indulge me on this, but
I've had enough to drink. That we've had enough to drink to talk about stuff. Like
yeah,
that.
no, but I think it's important because in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, I love the guy, right? I thought he was great. His debate, I especially loved his commitment to free speech and debate and going out and challenging people.
Yeah,
right. At the end of the day, I would have loved to have a debate with him, even though I would have felt awkward as a 42-year-old on a college campus talking to him. But I think, and we probably couldn't have had a good argument over drinks because he didn't drink. But I would have loved to pick his brain about exactly what we were just talking about, because he was a devout Christian. I don't doubt that, and I don't fault him for that for any reason or whatnot. But I still think that you can be moral without God. I think morals are independent of that. I think morals are more akin to these mathematical truths that I've tried to point out to you, and that there is a utility behind them that is true no matter if you're human or not, because it works for sharks and fish and turtles and all the other fucking species too, right? Yeah. Cooperation, under the right circumstances, cooperation defeats defection all the time. And it is an evolutionary stable strategy, or it's an evolutionary optimal strategy. What you probably saw from the Dawkins video, the creature that picks up a grudge and isn't able to forgive any other being that defects against him, the grudger does not do as well as the tit for tatter.
Yeah, right? The tit for tatter is the one, like when Dawkins showed, like he programmed a whole bunch of disks to, or a bunch of programs to basically, play against each other. The tit for tatter won every single time.
It's a very simple strategy, but it defeated all the complicated ones, and it shows a heck of a lot, right, as far as what we consider to be moral without thinking about it. Yeah. Like proportional response, right? Yeah. If someone does something wrong, the response should be proportional. Mm-hmm. If someone punches you in the nose and you cut their fucking head off, people will say that's not proportional. You've done something wrong. Yeah. And in large part, the societal institutions that we've set up are precisely designed to take the response or revenge or retaliation part of the wrongdoing or response to wrongdoing out of personal hands. Right? Yeah. Because that leads to vendetta, that leads to escalation, because both sides will always admit that or think that the response is larger than the initial offense, and it'll get out of hand. So a large part of what we consider to be a justice system is precisely as soon as a single wrong gets done, you have to put it into third parties, right?
Yeah.
So someone punches you in the face, you don't get to punch them back. You get to call the cops and you say, this person assaulted me. And the sentence for that person is not that you get to punch them back to be equal tit for tat. No, they need to make restitution some other way because they wronged you. So maybe there's a civil fine, maybe it's monetary or whatnot, or they've also offended society, so they have to do community service or something like that. It's the hangman speech out of the Hateful Eight, right? What makes us different from the savages is the hangman, right? It's the impartial person who's hanging you for not out of malice or out of revenge. They're trying to preserve society. That is not this prisoner's dilemma rubric, but you get what I'm saying at, right? Because the difficulty in enforcing a prisoner's dilemma is agreeing that the stakes from one game to the next were the same when they never are.
Mm-hmm. Never thought you would ever reference the Hateful Eight. So
me neither.
I actually liked that movie was a breath of fresh air next to another Force Awakens. Is that what that movie was called?
Oh God,
yeah, that was a breath of fresh air. But interesting. The game. What did you say last time? What did you just say? The game. The rules aren't the same.
The stakes are different.
The stakes are different.
So if you assume a simple game, the points are all the same in every iteration. The thing is, every prisoner's dilemma situation reduced into a human interaction, they aren't the same, right?
Right.
If Brian and I had the option of cheating, defecting, the 4 situation rubric, but the stakes were, hey Brian, do you want to meet up for milkshakes after the game tomorrow? And he could say yes or no, and I could say yes or no, and we could either both meet up and have milkshakes, or I could go find, the hot date with the blonde chick that I wanted to see and fuck Brian. And he had the same option available to him.
Wait, fuck me? What?
No, not that.
I know what you mean.
But let's just say Brian screwed me over, and I was there like at the milkshake bar waiting, and he didn't show up because he had to see about a girl. Well, then the next time, something happens and I let his house burn down, and I feel completely justified because he screwed me over that one time over milkshakes. That's the point I'm making, is that prisoner's dilemma games, right, about defect and cooperate, the stakes aren't the same all the time. And if you got cheated on one the time before, and therefore you feel justified the next game, stakes are different. It's going to get read different. And that's precisely why, as a society of learned human beings that we are, we actually outsource the revenge mechanism or the deterrent mechanism of righting wrongs, not to the individual. We give that to society writ large. And that is what the justice system ultimately is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that reminds me, the moral of the story is don't if we get milkshakes, don't I gotta show up or my house gets burned down, basically.
That's not the moral of the story.
I know it's not.
The moral of the story is, Brian, get a fucking gun, a really nice gun, and then you don't give a shit what anyone else thinks.
There you go. Because justice system. Well, I'm in Chicago, so you can imagine.
Exactly. Why do you think I'm giving you this advice? Are you going to trust the system? No, your system's fucked. Canada's completely fucked. At the end of the day, we're all in it for ourselves now. So,
well, you're in the Texas. You're in like the Texas part of Canada.
Oh, I got
in Alberta.
No, give me a second here. I got it.
So yeah, that was interesting. I have to finish that documentary. Very deep conversation. So, let's see what we got.
All right, I got myself a possession and acquisition license. I covered my finger over my name just because I don't want Trip to stalk me. Kidding. She already knows who I am. Possession. I can buy a gun.
I know his name. I know his first name too.
Yeah, you don't know everything about me, but
that's true.
But no, it's like got my eyes. If you had a good enough camera, you could probably read my name off my fucking degrees off the wall there. But whatever. I can go and buy myself a good fucking gun. Not like a handgun because those are fucking banned, but I could get a good shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm planning on buying a very nice precision bolt action rifle. So that's on my wish list.
Bolt action, nice. Self-defense is still illegal. It's illegal here.
Oh yeah. Sure. Oh yeah, it's completely illegal. If someone breaks into my house with a hatchet and I kill them, then I'll go to jail.
So what are you supposed to do in that situation?
I'll still kill them. So I don't give a shit at that point.
So what would you have to do to not go to jail? Like just hope that they don't.
No, I'd flee the country. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
It'll be fine. No one wants to kill me other than Trip.
Yeah,
so I'll be safe.
That's true. That's true. So, I figured, yeah, it's getting late. I'm getting tired, and I've had
too much whiskey. I get it.
Well, I drank the last of it, so I mean that was the point of that. That was the point. So
point of the whole stream.
Yeah, I mean, we barely talked about the World of Wheel. So I have the Ishamael page open right now, and I got that weird
Brian,
art.
It's okay. I haven't read the Wheel of Time for over 2 years.
Really? I thought you read it like every year at least.
I do. It's just I've been tied up more with like writing my own story and work and other stuff, and it's just like.
I wanted to ask you, like, because Chillporeal is a nerd channel.
Thanks.
We discover things, whether it's new things or it's old things. So I was curious. I know you said you're writing your story, so you're obviously discovering, it's your story, obviously. But like, have you been? I know you're not a video gamer. But like, is there been anything you've been reading or watching lately? Or have you not been really consuming anything?
I haven't been consuming too much. And in all honesty, a lot of the media consumption I have, it is related to how I do my story. And how that's all done. So a lot of it has been Amber's advice. Like, so when she's telling me to do something, like why my story isn't landing here or whatnot, she'll come up with good examples. And if I don't know the examples, I'll chase it down or whatnot. But it's usually, she's very good at like saying like broad strokes of this isn't landing because of, and then she'll give like something I would have seen or I would have been. Who hasn't seen Empire Strikes Back kind of shit, right? So it's broad examples like that. At the end of the day, like I think good story. Everybody knows kind of what makes up a good story, and it's not that difficult to kind of explain to someone from a story. From a storytelling point of view, what's difficult is basically saying, all right, where do you want to go? And if you're off on the wrong place, how do you get there? Kind of stuff. So corrections or advice like that can get difficult as far as like, I've already got an ending in mind. But yeah, to be honest, like, yeah, between work and actually writing a story, I haven't been consuming too much of outside media. Like, maybe I saw Foundation and I threw up. I saw Severance. I like that, but I think I need to see it again. And then there's Sports Ball, so I follow that too.
Yeah, got crapped on for not really enjoying, because I'm in Chicago and I don't watch enough sports. I don't watch the Blackhawks.
I know.
So I got the scolding from Dain for, like, how can you have such a great thing,
Three cups, three cups,
and you don't
in 5 years,
appreciate
and
it.
you wouldn't give a shit. You don't care, and you've got one of the greatest players, generational player in Connor Bedard on your team now, and you don't give a shit. Whatever.
I actually know who Connor Bedard is. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Fucking amazing.
But yeah, look who we got. We got Ozzy. If you haven't watched our Chillporeal, it was a great time. So another great guy right here, Ozzy.
And Ozzy is one of my alpha readers, just so you guys know.
So is it like the same as like an alpha tester versus beta tester for gaming?
So Ozzy read a draft of my novel along with LPK and Trip, although Trip quit halfway through, and Gadfly. They read kind of my draft before I felt comfortable sending it off to Amber.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me some really good advice. So thankfully, I didn't embarrass myself with the draft that I sent to Amber, because I had worked a lot of their fixes through at the end. But, you know, by nature of being kind of an alpha reader, they read the shittiest version of it, and you hope they're the nicest people, and they don't like crush your soul and don't make you want to give up writing altogether. And they weren't, other than Trip.
Yeah,
but I kid. But in essence, yeah, no, Ozzy is like, he's dying for me to like keep going. I hope he's reading the new drafts and appreciating just like how much of their input, but also Amber's input, has helped improve the story. But like anybody, I can also appreciate they kind of want to know like where it's going, where the ending goes. And the fact that I've spent like 5 years on this first act, this first volume of what's ultimately a 5-act play.
You've been writing You've been writing it that long?
Yeah, I started in 2020, at least putting pen to page.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's ultimate. You can see that in a lot of other writers too, as far as like they come out with a lot of books really early on, and then they slow down as their series comes out. The reason is they had a shit ton written, and then the first one got published, and the second one was nearly ready to be published, but they waited the year, and then like they run out of ready material, and that's why shit slows down. The only exception to this is J.K. Rowling. Mm-hmm. But everybody else, like, I would wager that Robert Jordan had The Eye of the World pinned down, buttoned down in like 1989. He probably had the first 3 books kind of ready-ish, at least in the first draft, before anything got published.
I read that he started writing The Wheel of Time as early as like 1984. I don't know how.
Yeah, there are also rumors about early drafts about Rand not necessarily being like a young boy, but like a warrior or whatever from a different town. That he split the Tam and Rand character into 2 as a father and son. That he had, well, here's one. That he had an additional character to join the party leaving from Emmons Field, which is precisely why there are one too many characters on the Daryl K. Sweet cover. If you go on the inflap or whatever of the Eye of the World, there are too many characters on horseback going into the village. Because you had Lan, you had Moraine, you had Rand, Matt, and Perrin, you had Tom, you had Egwene, right? So you had a 7-party ride, and
By the way, can you guys hear me? I accidentally unplugged my my mic. Dain, can you hear me?
I can still hear you.
Okay, good.
It's not on the in flap on this one, but there's that other photo of Lana Moraine going through the village. So on an early edition of the Eye of the World, when you flipped into the inside cover, there was another picture of Lana Moraine, but they were in like this village with thatched roofs and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And there were, I'm pretty sure it was in that one. They just had one too many characters. And in my version, it might also be that the cover has that, except I've got this this barcode covering where the rest of the party would be. Yeah. Mm. Anyways,
yeah. Who is this supposed to be right here? I didn't even notice this until now. Right here in the corner. Who is this supposed to be? Right here.
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage.
I don't know. Land is not supposed to look like that either, but whatever.
Isn't this supposed to be Land right here? This.
Yeah, that he doesn't have armor and that helmet like that either. So whatever. It's weird.
Well, I mean, I was looking at like all the the 7 pages of art, like the Great Hunt, for instance. Like, are those supposed to be Trollocs, or are those supposed to be like just men in helmets and all that?
Exactly.
Like what was I looking at?
Exactly.
And the same with and it was the same exact thing with Fires of Heaven. Same thing. You know, are those supposed to be Trollocs, or are those supposed to be? And here's the funny thing. Crown of Swords, which has no Trollocs whatsoever, except for no Trollocs whatsoever in the book. You see Trollocs, you know, encroaching as Rand is not standing correctly.
I know.
In Shadar Lagut.
Shadar Lagut. But yeah, no, I hear you on that. The flip side,
yeah, like right here, like
these cover criticisms.
What are these right here?
Yep.
Are they Trollocs? What are they? Are they Pen Fates?
They're men with, yeah. I get it. The flip side of it is arguably nothing helped set the Wheel of Time on its path to success more than the cover of the Eye of the World.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the big moon, the big warrior off on it. It was a magnificent cover, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You see that. And even that Rand Rand looks like Nick Cage in the background. That's your main character.
That does look like Nick Cage right here. Holy crap!
Yeah,
you're right.
But you look at that and you're just like, I want to read that book, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it did more than anything. And the reason why Wheel of Time has a lot of success is because those Daryl K. Sweet covers. So as much as we like to rip on them, that is why I have a full bookshelf full of the Daryl K. Sweet covers. Aside from the final book, which wasn't his because he passed away before.
Before Memory of Light, right? Yeah. Isn't there supposed to be like a Wheel of Time? The snake, this right here, like this. There's supposed to be the snake symbol. You know, the Wheel of Time symbol in the middle, in this little ring right here on the Horn of Valyr.
When you have the Horn of Valyr chapter symbol, there is kind of something that's akin to the wheel with the snake, kind of the 3 circles.
Yeah.
But again, it's people's headcanon, right? So at least it wasn't.
So the Wheel of Valyr does not look like a gold painted coffee
tie jug
or whatever.
No.
Like were
that
they
blows raspberries?
Like were they that? I mean, like seriously, like were they that lazy? Like they just couldn't. They couldn't have like a brass instrument manufacturer make them a prop.
When like we had it in the rewatch, but like when season 1, episode 8 came out, and we're just like, the Horn of Valyr is like under the throne now. We couldn't fucking believe it. And then when Padden Fane steals the box, and we're just like, that is a tiny ass box. What kind of like Horn of Valir is this going to be? How would that fit?
And when did we finally see it? Like the final episode of season 2?
Yeah, and then it was a jug. It was basically like Homer Simpson, like, doot, doot, doot. Maybe I can even do it with this empty wine bottle.
Yeah, I didn't get around to watching. We were another thing we were supposed to do was do a top 10 Simpsons because of the all the gifts that me and Dain show. Because
we'll do it one day.
We'll do it one day. You know, like for me, Simpsons ended in 1999 or 2000 or something when I started high school, basically.
The Homer
a lot of people say it really ended after season 7, which was
Homer
earlier
gets
than
the 105 IQ. That was peak Simpsons, and then like,
wasn't it like just the one with the crayon? That was the one with the crayon right in his brain.
Crayon up his nose.
He takes the crayon out of his brain. All of a sudden, he's Algernon or something like that.
Yeah, and then it's just like, and then he finds that like stupid movies aren't funny. And like he hates life or whatnot, and then he laments point out your plot holes elsewhere. And they're like, is there no place for the man with the 105 IQ? Keeping in mind, like his IQ got raised 50 points, so he had 55 before that. Then,
and then how's the episode resolve itself? Well, he puts the crayon back up his nose, and he resumes being Homer Simpson. That we all know.
It's actually a beautiful episode, but. As far as I'm concerned, that is at least peak Simpsons, like, and late Simpsons. Because I agree, like a lot of the best episodes happen early on, but that's one of my favorites, and it happens a little bit later. But I forget,
was there like in the late, like starting like 97 or 98 or something, maybe even earlier. It became like, you know, let's have a guest celebrity in every episode. I forget if there was a guest celebrity.
The bigger criticism of the Simpsons episodes is that Homer turned into an absolute buffoon, as opposed to someone with a heart, right? So in a lot of prior episodes, yes, like a lot of the comedy came from his mistakes and decisions and didn't reason out. But Homer always had a good heart. Yeah. And then right around season 7 or 8 or whatnot, he just turned into a buffoon. Like when he got raped by the panda, for example, that was, you know, beyond the pale for a lot of people watching it, being like, how did he get into this situation? How is he being a good dad? How is any of this a good moral lesson? None of that was there. This was just there for cheap laughs and thrills. So a lot of people lost it on The Simpsons at that point. Not me, because I was a teenager at the time and wasn't sophisticated enough to, you know, realize what the messages were that they were saying. Yeah. But 20 years after the fact, I can appreciate that type of criticism. Early Homer was a good dad, no matter what, right? No matter how fucking retarded he was, how much buffoonery he was there. He was a likable character because he was a good dad. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And that disappeared around season 8, in my view.
I still like, you know, season 1. I still like season 1 Homer, where he's like, son, if you open the door, I will hug you. Because you think I'm stupid enough to fall for that? Why, you little? And then he starts strangling poor Bart. Starts strangling Bart. Like that's
my favorite is the kids up in the treehouse. Homer, it's really coming down right now. Can you check on the kids?
They're fine.
Hits the tree. They're fine.
They're fine. That's yeah. That is funny. Now that's funny. But yeah, I liked. I mean, I was watching I was watching the Who Shot Mr. I think it was Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 2. The one with they go to Krusty Burger and they name drop McDonald's in that scene because they're trying to, like, I went to McDonald's in Shelbyville and you know that gum based drink that they have there. Well, they just call them shakes. They just call them shakes. What do they call a Krusty Burger at this McDonald's? Oh, they call it a quarter pounder. They call it a quarter pounder with cheese. So
I don't know if it's that one, but
it was okay. Maybe it wasn't. But but you know what's funny is, like I saw the Simpsons versions of famous movies before I saw the movies themselves. One thing I saw was the pulp.
Rear Window is one of those, right?
Rear Window is definitely one of those. The oh my god, that kid's gonna kill me, and then Flanders like like screams like a woman. I did okay, so that was one I saw. Another one was the Pulp Fiction episode.
Yeah, with
so
the gum in the hair and whatnot.
Yes, yeah. And then it ends with the really tall guy in the tiny car, and he picks up. He's like, "Hey, look at the
you're making fun of me," and he pulls down Bart's pants. Hey, look at this
Nelson.
kid.
It was Nelson.
Oh, was it
this
Nelson?
Is a kid that laughs everyone. Well, let's laugh at him. And the whole city's laughing, and the kids crying and all that. And then of course was it Snake and Chief Wiggum are fighting, and they end up in the one-armed dude's store.
Yeah,
and that was basically Pulp Fiction right there. And then years later, I watched Pulp Fiction for the first time as a senior in high school. Like, holy crap, I've seen this before with The Simpsons. And then the other example is the Treehouse of Horror. So I saw a lot of Treehouse of Horror before I saw what they were derived from. Like, for instance, like Evil Bart, he turns Homer into a Jack-in-the-Box. Years before I saw the Twilight Zone episode with the kid, that everyone's afraid of the kid because he could just turn them into whatever they want.
Oh, you also have the Raven narrated by James Earl Jones.
Yeah,
like getting you into poetry.
Yeah, and of course The Shining. All work and no, not The Shining. No. You want to get a suit? All work and no TV and no beer make Homer something. What?
Go crazy.
Go crazy.
Don't mind if
I do. Yeah. So that's how I saw. That's how I saw.
Dude, it's like my dad called me out when I was like an 11-year-old, being like, there was a Simpsons joke where Abraham Simpson, so Abe Simpson, Grandpa Simpson, was on like, I was serving on the PT 109 with Jack Kennedy when we were the first to discover his horrible secret.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Kennedy go, "Ich bin ein Berliner. He's a Nazi. Let's get him."
Yeah, I remember that one.
And we all thought it was funny. And then my dad was like, "Do you even know why that's funny?" And we're like, "Why is it funny?" And then he had to like walk us through the whole like Berlin airlift and the whole history of Jack Kennedy. And I'm just like, thanks. It's funnier now, but it took half an hour for that to get funny.
Yeah.
Berlin
airlift. Yep. Cold War. Yep.
Ich bin ein Berliner. I honestly, I still love how the whole Quimby family is just basically Kennedys, because they use the same accent for everything.
What's funny is, when I was watching, maybe because I'm in Chicago, I always thought of Quimby as, believe it or not, the Daly family, because it kind of makes me think of the Dalys actually.
Hey, I am no longer illiterate.
Yeah. Definitely Kennedy.
Election in November. What? Again? This stupid country?
Yep. I always liked the Sideshow Bob ones. I like the one where he runs for mayor.
Oh,
the one he ran for mayor was really good. The one based, and I still have not seen this. I still have not seen Cape Fear, but they made a Sideshow Bob episode based off of Cape Fear.
Yeah, I think that's the one where they go to the houseboat one.
Yep, the houseboat one. Yep, and he has like, how does Bart get out of it? He's like, I hear you're
HMS Pinafore.
HMS Pinafore. Yeah, exactly.
From Gilbert and Sullivan, the whole rendition through.
Gilbert and Worf. Excuse me, Worf. Do you know Gilbert and Sullivan? No, sir. I have not had the chance to meet the newer members of the Creds from Star Trek Insurrection. That always makes that's I don't know. People hate that movie. I still like it. and whenever I hear HMS Pinafore and Gilbert and Sullivan, I always think of that movie. So, but yeah, that's all I get out of it. And,
all right, Brian, I take this boy out for a pee.
All right, so I guess this is a good time to say goodnight to everybody. It's already midnight. Thanks for being here. So Trip and Nurundun, I think it's Nurundun. Josh Templeton, of course, the great real Azimoto, and of course my buddy who crafted the thumbnail, Judd Roberts. I don't know if you saw. What did you think of the thumbnail?
I thought it looked hot.
He used AI and gave Matt like a beer, like some stuff.
Wait, I thought that was me.
I guess that was you too. I don't know.
Leave me to my delusions.
So, and of course, Steve was here earlier, Mr. Prophet of the Dragon, Nerd Takes, and a few other people. And I don't know. This is a bot. Oh well. But yeah, so everybody have a safe weekend, and get some reading in, and hopefully you'll learn something. You'll learn something here, especially from us talking evolutionary biology and
from Drunk Dain. If you learned something from me tonight, shame on you.
I learned something. Oh yeah, Trip is right. Yeah, take care of your liver, boys. Stay away from the spinach. You know, I gotta stay away from that calcification or whatever.
Absolutely. We had like a 20-minute interlude about kidney health, which is only helpful.
Yeah. So everybody. Dain, is there anything you want to promote? Is there any Whitecloaks videos? Apparently, Pips is busy being
So here's one thing that'll float.
Alex, I don't know what Alex is up to.
I haven't floated this by the boys yet. Okay, so I'm announcing it here. So maybe it'll trickle through. But if we are going to do rewatches, which I hope we end up doing, right? Because the whole show's fucking terrible.
Didn't you guys start season 2 though?
Yeah, and then like. We ran into like editing problems,
because Pips is your editor.
Well, he's a perfectionist, right, and whatnot, but he doesn't have the time to do it or whatnot. I think the rewatches need to go to a live format where we just basically can't pause the video, and we'll just talk and comment over it. Mm-hmm. But that at least makes sure that it doesn't turn into a 5-hour nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
For every episode. But I've also broached the topic with Steve because he's looking for stuff to do too. And if Alex and Pips are rightfully busy, right, because they have their own lives or whatnot, maybe we can migrate it to Steve's channel. So that's all I'm saying. Like maybe we start rewatches from the start again, because there's a merit to rewatching this nightmare, knowing how it all ends and having all that future context kind of back in the past. But maybe it turns into something like that. That's all I'm saying. But I still need to discuss with the boys.
Yeah, I mean, I hope something, hope something materializes from that. Hope you guys can work something out and get this stuff going, because
look, at the end of the day,
shamed.
If I'm berating Pips for not joining on the string or the show to like make fun of Wheel of Prime because he'd rather take his little boy out to a playground, I would feel like the biggest piece of shit for giving him a hard time for doing that, because that is clearly a billion times more important.
It is a billion, and plus he himself does not have a whole lot of time with his family, so he's got to spend it. That's why I'm like, dude, if you usually the last few times I've had him on, it's basically when he is traveling and he's in a hotel room by himself and he has nothing to do. So and you know what? I'm okay with that. But that's basically and
I totally am too. And here that's the beautiful thing about this too, is we're not the same people as we were when this shit show started. Sadly, I'm the most the same. But Alex and Lady B, they've got their own lives to do as well. And Pips.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the show is so fucking terrible. All it does is suck to, like, you could make fun of it for so long, but the object of making fun of it was to get it canceled. Now that it's canceled, why are we making fun of it? I will, out of principle, because I am the Japanese soldier on the fucking island that's been deserted, that doesn't want to admit the war has been, over.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
I just learned about that myself.
I have nothing better to do, but
yeah.
But anyway, me and Steve might be on our island together, but maybe there's an audience for it. So anyway, that's what we're investigating right now. So, anywho,
all right,
still room for guests, but
yeah, I'm sure you can find plenty of people to. I'm sure you can find plenty of people to help with that. So, but yeah, for me, I don't really have any streams until a few weeks from now. So the next one I'm doing is video game related. It's the thing that when was the last time you played? Have you ever played? You played a video game before, haven't you?
Yeah, I played like Skyrim.
Oh, you played Skyrim. Well, the new game that I want to play, and I don't play a lot of games myself nowadays. I mean, the one game I'm playing right now is Hollow Knight, and it's a tough game. But the game that's coming out that I really want to play is Metroid Prime 4. After 18 years, they're finally making another game. So I'm going to be talking about that. And so besides this book, I have another coffee table book. Where is it? It's a Metroid.
Is it? Yeah,
it's a coffee table book.
I can't make too much fun of you because I have that book, but it's Skyrim. So the Skyrim one had like where all the dragon thunes are.
Oh, this is not a walkthrough book. This is a retrospective book.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
This is a retrospective book. So it's got like all.
And it's fucking hardcover. All right. Brian, all right, we got to, before I lose my shit on you, but we'll find you someone who gives a shit. I'm sorry.
Well, I got a guest, and we're going to talk about it. We're looking forward. The game's coming out in December. I'm probably going to get a Switch. I'm going to get a Nintendo Switch 2 for this game, and for Donkey Kong Bonanza as well. 2 games. So, but yeah. I mean, I don't play a whole lot of video games myself. I'll be honest, I have not been in the mood to consume stuff. Well, I consume more social media than I should. I kind of got that's a drug. That's a drug.
Older stuff is better, but you got to draft my book. So try that out. If Crossroads of Twilight is feeling slow,
it is extremely slow, but I have to. You have to say, hey, it's a great book. There's stuff to look forward to.
What I'll say is try a couple chapters of my book, right? Because I'm extremely conscious of pacing, right? Because I think pacing of the main issues that are in there with fantasy books, as far as you have plot, you have character, you have setting. You have theme, but the other one is pacing. If the pacing sucks, the readers lose interest. And Wheel of Time gets major pacing problems in the middle of the series because too many characters spread the story out too thinly, and not enough is able to happen in each of them that the pacing slows to a crawl. What I'm very, very conscious of with my story is that the pacing never stops. So if I have a dull chapter, I make sure that the one after that picks it up. So all I'm saying is give my book a try, like read through it. And if you can't put it down after 3 chapters.
How long is your book, by the way?
It's 312,000 words. So it's longer than The Eye of the World. But what I'm saying is every chapter is about 4,000 words. So I don't have super long chapters in between short ones. You kind of know that after 12 pages or 13 pages, the chapter is going to end, so that the pacing is a little bit regular. And I think I did a good job of doing the cliffhangers.
Okay.
Salty, the book is friends and family and gamma, beta, alpha readers only right now. I'm very self-conscious about it, so I'm sending it to these nerds. But if you want, reach out and I can give you an EPUB draft if you want to read.
So so when it came to Song of Ice and Fire, especially the Feast for Dragons combination, I would just try to be as chronological as possible. But what you're saying is, the way you wrote it, you wrote one character, and then you go back in time to another character at that same initial point, and so forth and so forth. And that's how you're supposed to read it, basically. Well, I mean, obviously.
Yeah. And one of the big feedbacks I got actually from alpha readers like Ozzy was they suggested that my third character and my second character were out of order. So they thought that the ending of the second character would have been better putting in the third act as opposed to what I had.
Mm-hmm.
So they convinced me on it. So basically I swapped the second and the third act on reader advice.
Was it because of something that got revealed too soon, perhaps?
No, it was more about if you're doing a Shakespearean story arc of there needs to be a mid-act climax. What they were comparing was the ending of my Charlotte act and the ending of my Henry act, and they thought the Henry one was actually more impactful. That made a bigger deal in the story, so that should be kind of the midpoint climax. That should be the Mercutio getting killed kind of moment, as opposed to something earlier in the middle.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do. I do need to finish. I have 4 more pages of the prologue. Does Dain survive? I think he does. I have a good feeling he does.
I hope you read through my prologue a little bit quicker.
I think so. I mean, your prologue's not like a mini novella, is it?
No. The prologue is 6 pages long, if that.
Okay.
But do you have a Kindle, Brian?
I have a phone with the I do have a Kindle, but I have a phone with the Kindle app.
Okay, so I recommend a Kindle just because it's easier for readability. But there's a way to basically email an EPUB file to yourself or your Kindle email address so that it shows up in your Kindle library.
Interesting. All right, I'll have to try that. I don't know. A Kindle email address?
Yeah, you find it via your Amazon account.
Okay.
You go to your Amazon account, and there's a way to all right, what is it? Everything tied to it. And there's something at kindle.com, and that's you. And if you email an EPUB file to it, within 5 minutes, it'll show up on your Kindle. And then you'll just read it as a normal book. Trip hasn't read the new prologue because Amber got me to rewrite it entirely. It's better now, but it's not as sexy. And I'm not doing ASMR readings for a while.
Okay. But yeah, other than the Metroid Prime 4 Chillporeal in the first week of December, I don't really have anything else. You know what I gotta do? I have to reach out to Amber. We gotta do a top 10 Star Trek Next Generation.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I'm curious. I mean, I liked our stream talking about. I thought her giving me more insight into the creation of Q and his role was very interesting. How he was supposed to be the fool, the Shakespearean fool or something like that. Yep. So yeah, I thought it was very interesting. I'd love to have her on. She wasn't quite used to how I do things, so there was points where I would kind of veer off, and I would talk about something, and then I would bring something else would come to mind. I'd bring it up, and she'd be like, "Huh?" And then she would slowly get back into the original topic. So
Mind wandering.
Yeah, that's me. ADHD. What can I say? So, but yeah, other than that, my buddy's trying to get me to do a video again. I haven't done a video in over a year and a half. So maybe this resource will give me a reason to do a video retrospective on this Metroid Prime trilogy. So that might be a thing. And Yeah, we're getting close to the feast of Thanksgiving. I was reading up on all the holidays in the Wheel of Time. So apparently there is a Thanksgiving in the Wheel of Time.
But not in Canada.
Not in Canada, of course. So. Wait, didn't Thanksgiving already happen this year?
Yeah, it's our fake Thanksgiving. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, I gotta go let Fitzy out. Or not.
All right.
Fitzy died. I gotta go let Ollie out. My new Fitzy.
All right. So everybody take care, stay safe, and definitely hit the like button and leave a comment. Let's get this to 100 views.
Stay Chillporeal.
Stay who? Never mind.
You.
All right.
Wait, what?
Stay Chillporeal, everybody. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for being here.